How are we doing, everybody? Welcome to the Real Talk Network podcast. My name's Omar. I'm joined by Abdul, Jamil, Yusuf, and Sulaiman, and we got a great episode for you guys today.
So today we're going to be rehashing the weekly news that's occurred in the past week. We're also going to be giving our top 10 quarterback list. We're also going to be continuing our division deep dive series. And this week we've got the NFC East.
All right, let's get right into it.
So in weekly news, there's been trade rumors that Falcons wide receiver Julio Jones will be traded because of their cap situation. If he's to be traded, then it would relieve about $15 million off of the Atlanta Falcons cap. What do you guys think about this, and where do you guys think he's going to go?
So
Um, yeah,
I don't really understand what the Falcons' direction is right now. Um,
It feels like win
Considering the
now.
fact that they restructured Matt Ryan's contract, it made it seem like they were trying to win now, even though they had a defense that doesn't allow you to win now. So then you look at who they drafted, Kyle Pitts instead of a quarterback. So that says that they're trying to win now still, right? So all of the moves have been saying they're trying to win now. Trading Julio would be a rebuild move. So I don't think that the Julio trade is going to happen just because of how the front office has been orchestrating their moves prior to this potential trade, but that's my take.
I mean, the way how I'm seeing it right now is that for Atlanta Falcons, they must have really high expectations for Kyle Pitts during the draft, and they have high expectations for Calvin Ridley taking over that wide receiver one position. And then they've seen that how Julio Jones was just getting injured. It was hard for him to stay healthy throughout the season. And if they were to trade him high, and they could possibly trade him for either draft picks or for defensive pieces coming towards the season, that could kind of be a win now move because he's still
Mm-hmm.
a top receiver in the league. So if they go towards a trade towards a team that has solid defensive pieces but need a receiver, and they give Julio Jones for possibly a solid defensive piece plus a pick or just maybe an extremely solid defensive piece towards like his caliber, I could consider that as a win now move too if that heavily impacts their defense being better. So I think I could see if they get like a really good trade for it, that's what they would do. But yeah, like you said, it's kind of weird for them to not keep Julio Jones because he's still an amazing receiver, and they have Matt Ryan and they have Kyle Pitts and Calvin Ridley, so that's like just an offensive threat and just insane.
I think
But
that
where
I
I
think that they
think would
could
be
win
traded,
now with trading him because you have Kyle Pitts and you have Calvin Ridley. When Calvin Ridley broke off, he went crazy last year. When Julio was gone, he was very impressive. So if you have him and then you just drafted the best receiving tight end prospect in the past decade or for the longest time. And if you have those two, I think that'll suffice. Honestly, obviously you have Julio Jones, who is when healthy a top 3 wide receiver in the league. But looking at the cap situation right now, they need to work this out because they also have missing pieces on the defensive side. They lost safety Keanu Neal. They have a couple. Honestly, the only very notable people on their defense are Grady Jarrett and Deion Jones. They don't have many notable pieces, so I could see
AJ
them
Terrell,
trading him.
pretty good.
Wait, what'd you say?
The rookie cornerback AJ Terrell was
Oh,
pretty
AJ
good.
Terrell. AJ Terrell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
he's
he
pretty
was
good.
he was solid for him.
Yeah.
So they don't have many notable pieces on the defensive side, and their receiving core, as is without Julio, is still very good. So I could see them trading him and trying to get honestly a team. I could see a team giving a first up for him, but most likely a second or third makes sense.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah,
don't
honestly,
sleep on.
I could
Sorry, I was gonna
go
say
ahead.
don't sleep on Russell Gage. He got like I think he got like 72 receptions,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
remember him.
mean,
He was like a
He got, like,
fantasy king in the
800
first like
yards.
3 weeks.
800 yards,
dude,
4 TDs.
their
He's not
whole
horrible.
receiving core is just solid.
Yeah.
The
As a
thing
wide
is,
receiver
There because
three,
Calvin Ridley was injured and
yeah,
Julio Jones was injured when they were still passing the ball extremely well.
that's what I was gonna say though. They've all of those wide receivers, all three of them, were getting injured like crazy last year. Like it, I think like probably up until week 2 was the only week where all three of them were healthy. Uh, and that's when they looked their best, when all three of them were in play, because then they had like the three-headed monster. Calvin Ridley looked his best with Julio Jones there.
That is
I
true.
mean, but now you have Kyle Pitts that to who could possibly replace that Julio Jones. It take back those receivers, take receivers, and just it would just be kind of like a threat because now that you have Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts, who's also a big body, who's extremely fast, like Julio Jones was, and honestly, he's probably faster than Julio Jones is now because Julio Jones with all those injuries and now he's aging. He's not what he used to be back in his prime. And Kyle Pitts right now is coming out athletic freak, has hands, can probably body anybody, any corner and any safety. That's just like crazy for any quarterback to handle. So they're probably gonna have to double team him. If he's actually as good as people say he is, and as generational prospect as he is, and that's gonna help Calvin Ridley regardless. And I think I could see why they trade him for a defensive piece because they need help on that defense. Their defense sucks. It's not like a mystery why they're having problems. Their defense is literally disgustingly bad, and they need it if they trade for like a solid and their specialties. And if they trade for like a solid, I don't know, linebacker or a solid safety, that's gonna boost that defense tremendously. It's because Julio
Wouldn't
Jones is a high value pick.
I wouldn't say that Kyle Pitts is going to be able to fill in the role of Julio Jones or be able to take his receptions because the last time a rookie tight end broke 1,000 yards was Mike Ditka. So
What?
that shows
I mean,
Real?
how
But
that
records are
shows
meant to be broken.
okay, but it's been what
That is
The
50
other
insane.
years,
generation of tight ends.
Bro.
dude.
But he's
It's been
also
like 50 years.
Mike
It's very unlikely that Pitts is going to be the tight end to break the 1,000-yard curse for rookies for tight ends.
I don't know
very
because
unlikely.
Matt Ryan
It's
is
possible.
like slinging it. I think
Wait,
with Kyle Pitts is
dude,
very
that-
Who's
possible.
the
There's-
last
there's-
tight end to go in
I mean,
the
like
top five, bro?
Hawkinson.
I mean, no, he was.
Okay,
he
but
went,
Hawkinson, they
Hawkinson went
honestly didn't
8.
use him.
He went 8.
I don't.
I mean,
think
I
we're
mean,
saying.
OJ
Pitts-
Howard didn't really have. He dropped a lot of balls.
Dude.
So, but Kyle Pitts is literally the best tight end to come out of in the draft
Kyle Pitts
for,
was
like,
the best.
decades.
Yeah, he was the
Like the
best
dude's like an athletic, just like
non-QB.
monster.
also, I
Prospect.
don't think
Hawkinson was
it's
taken at 8.
fair to grade him like exactly like other tight ends because his build is almost a receiver build. So he might not like go straight into this tight end role that typical tight ends see. Like there's a good chance that we see Kyle Pitts lining up as a wide receiver and not in the tight end positions only. So I think that's something to consider too.
That's true.
Yeah, true.
I
What
mean,
about the landing spots though? I want
Yeah,
to talk about those.
I honestly,
I want him to go
one
to the
thing
Ravens.
I'm worried about is the Packers. I really don't want him going on the
Dude, the
Packers.
Packers
Trust
can't.
me, we're
The
not getting
Packers
him.
are one of the people.
Dude, the
they're
Packers
one of the
don't make
least in
moves,
cap.
bro.
Yeah,
have
they-
no
they-
No,
cap.
it's
I
not that we. Even if we wanted to make that move, we couldn't. We don't have cap space.
Yeah. There's
Well,
Yeah,
you could trade
But you guys
somebody
would never want to
with
make
the-
that move
yeah.
because the Packers don't like making moves.
That's true.
Hey,
That's
we
facts.
miss a move.
I want to
Well,
see him. I want to see him in a Ravens uniform. I know that the Ravens drafted Rashad Bateman. in
Don't
the first
sleep on
round,
the
but-
2019 moves with Zadarius Smith and Amos.
That would be dirty with on the Ravens.
Yeah.
That would be
They-
very dirty with Julio Jones on the
Some of
Ravens.
the top spots I saw were the 49ers, the Chargers, the Colts, the Titans. Those were all like some of the realistic ones because those teams all have some cap space. So what do you feel about any of those?
49ers.
would
be
I don't
dirty,
know.
dude.
I like Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk.
I think the
But-
Colts would be the dirtiest team. They need a wide receiver one.
Oh,
Dude,
that's
the
Like
true.
they have
Titans
Michael
weren't even-
Pittman and they also have that other guy.
Campbell. They're
Yeah,
all like wide
Chris
receiver
Campbell.
2s or
Yeah.
3s.
They don't
TY's
have
back
like
for a, year.
a guy
Ty.
because
But, I mean,
Ty
he's not a
lost
guy.
it.
Ty,
Yeah, Ty
was-
wasn't a wide receiver one last year. Like
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah.
yeah, 2-1.
he wasn't
I-
that good.
And also, I mean, he was also always injured. But
Mhm.
that makes sense for the Colts because of the amount of defensive pieces they have. If they were to trade some of their, because they have star defensive pieces everywhere.
Mhm.
Like everyone on that defense is solid. So they, could trade some
like
defensive
Kwity
pieces.
Paye.
Yeah, they could trade that. Yeah, Kwity Paye too. I mean, if he's a high value or like low end first round, he was in the very end of the first round. I think that's like a fair value for Julio Jones. Kwity Paye for Julio Jones. I think that's solid. Or even one of their safeties or
Rock
something.
Ya-Sin.
Or Rocky Sin, man. They could trade him plus like a pick, like a fourth or something. Like
Yeah.
they could give him some defensive pieces for Julio Jones, including picks. I think
wouldn't
that's a
trade
solid
Kwity Paye,
play
though.
destination. I like Kwity Paye too.
I don't know. I feel like I've seen the Titans and I've seen like AJ Brown's like, yo, I'm gonna change my number if Julio comes. I don't know why he's doing that. Like, if Julio comes,
Bro, that's just respect.
I
man.
feel like AJ Brown gonna get like 400 yards because literally their whole offense is Derrick Henry. Like they just run it like all the
Oh
time.
my god.
Dude, they
No,
run
dude.
a lot of
Like,
play
dude, like-
action.
Yeah,
don't
Ryan
know.
Tannehill
They'll
can swing
throw,
it.
He's not
like,
all that
right-
offensive,
right
But I
Tannehill
feel
can
like
swing
the
it.
Titans wouldn't benefit off having Julio Jones.
I
feel
get
like
it.
they're like
But
that, like Lamar, like the Ravens type.
Well,
offense.
Titans also need a defense.
Tannehill's not
Yeah.
gonna throw 2,000 yards. He's gonna throw closer to 4K. Like
Yeah, no,
Gonna-
Tannehill,
Yeah.
Tannehill
go
can swing
only
it.
to Julio.
I
don't
mean,
know.
we saw when AJ Brown
I
had his
get what you're
breakout
saying.
year.
That trade
Corey
isn't
Davis
worth
had a
it.
breakout year as well. So like, I mean, having a
With
number
Derek
two.
Corey
Henry, I
Davis
don't
is
Listen,
think
gone
Davis worth
too.
Yeah,
So
AJ
Davis
Brown
is
had a
gone,
breakout year
so
his
they
rookie year.
they
AJ Brown was
signed
dummy always.
they signed
He
Rams,
was-
Rams wide receiver Josh Reynolds, but I mean Josh Reynolds isn't anything crazy. So
I mean,
and
I'm
also
just
Johnny
saying.
Smith is gone. Johnny Smith is gone. So they have
Yeah,
like no
they're-
receiving threats. other than
They
A.J.
they
Brown.
lost yards in receptions. I mean, like in catches,
Mhm.
and losing AJ Brown and I mean, not AJ Brown, Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So I could see them. Yeah,
Yeah.
they definitely need another.
That's
receiver.
like I think that's like at least
Oh yeah,
1,500
that's
yards.
right. Corey Davis isn't gone. Or
Who's a
Corey
tight end
Davis
one
went
now?
from
to-
last
Anthony
season.
Ferkser? Like they don't have
Yeah,
that many
there's not
receiving
much
threats.
talent on the receiving core besides Brown.
Brown is still a freak.
They got what's his name?
Yeah.
Adam
Brown is
Humphries.
still a freak.
Adam Humphries.
I'm not sure who they
That's
got.
okay.
They
He's
got one.
okay.
All right, but yeah, I mean, for me, I think the best destination for him is the Colts, only because of the defensive pieces they have, and it would only make sense for the Falcons to get defensive pieces in return. Because I mean, if that's win now, you need to fix your defense.
Mhm.
What's better to fix your defense with proven players already? And Colts have a bunch of proven players on that defense.
That's facts.
I agree.
All right, so
Yeah.
the next weekly news update was the Washington football team released tackle Morgan Moses. It saved about almost $8 million in cap, and they decided to make this move after bringing in tackle Charles Leno from the Bears on a $5 million contract. What do you guys think about this?
Was he the left tackle for them, or
I
right?
think he was the right.
I thought he was the right tackle. I mean,
Yeah.
I think what happened was they're gonna put Leno at left tackle and they're gonna put Cosme, Sam
Mhm.
Cosme at right tackle, and they're really high on Sam Cosme. But I mean, Morgan Moses was also solid too.
Yeah.
That's like a solid pickup for any team that needs a right tackle, including the Bears.
Mhm.
But we don't have any cap space for him
Yeah,
because
we
I'm
got
sure
no
some
money.
team will pay him a decent amount of money because I think he's worth a little bit more than 5 mil.
Mhm.
I think he's worth 5 mil to the 8 mil range because he was a standout right tackle. He's extremely good, very dependable. A lot of teams can use him. It is kind of surprising that you would cut Morgan Moses for Sam Cosme, but in my opinion at least, because I don't think Cosme's that proven,
Mhm.
and Morgan Moses is extremely proven.
Yeah,
I think they
Cosme-
need a cap.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It's got to be a cap casualty.
Because-
Charles Leno Jr. good.
He's all right.
He's average.
He's
He's
average.
serviceable.
He's an average left
Christian.
tackle,
Good.
but average left tackle is still good for a left tackle.
Yeah.
So, like, 'cause it's hard to get an average left tackle.
Just the thing is, tackles are premium positions, so that's like the last position you'd want to cut, in my opinion. In terms of trying to find cap, because finding a good tackle is hard. It's really hard to find a serviceable tackle, and when you don't have one, it really affects your offense negatively.
I mean, how much was
Yeah,
he cut for?
Look at the
two
Packers.
How much
starting-
did they save?
They saved
I'm not
almost
sure
8
on the
million. I think it was
exact
7.75 million by cutting him.
That's honestly fine. That's not even bad.
But then they signed
That's like
Charles
that's like
Reynolds, so like the margin they
For
they
5
saved
million,
about,
yeah.
like,
I mean,
2.25
unless-
million or 2.
maybe they're not high on Sam Cosme on the left tackle, and they need a left tackle, and then they needed to sign that left tackle, and they had put Sam Cosme in the right tackle because they were high on him on the right tackle and not left.
Yeah,
That's the
Sam
only thing that makes
Cosme,
sense.
he needs some work. There were some things I saw when I was doing my research into the draft, and he's pretty raw, and he needs to develop. So
I
if
mean-
you start him off at left tackle, he'll probably get destroyed.
I don't think if he needs to develop, then I don't think they should be starting him at all, and they should have kept Morgan Moses and either had him study behind Leno and Moses, and they could have saved cap somewhere else. I'm sure, but I think
Where
this
do
was a
you-
surprise pick for most.
Yeah. Where do you guys think he's gonna end up? Because he's gonna be on a team.
Yeah, that's 100%.
I don't know.
I wish I could say
think,
that Bears
yeah,
would take him, but we have
maybe
no
if he survives past June 1st, I think maybe the Bears could snag him.
for cheap. Yeah,
For cheap.
we can
Like,
definitely
if
make
he's-
something
if
get
he's
him for
past
cheap.
June 1st,
Wait.
and his
I was
salary
trying to
gonna
think
go
of
down.
teams that really need an offensive line, and the Steelers came to mind.
Oh, true.
The Steelers, that's true, yeah.
Alejandro Villanueva's gone now. So.
I wouldn't mind the Packers getting him. But like,
You guys
can
don't.
never
You guys
have
don't need it.
depth.
You-
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you
That's
can
true,
never
you can
have too
always
much
get depth.
depth.
But I'm sure there's a team that would pay more than a depth payout.
Yeah, I mean the
For
Steelers
sure.
can offer him a starting job, and
Titans.
I don't know what-
How's the Titans O line for right tackle position?
Is
pretty
Taylor
good.
Lewan right tackle or is he left?
Either the one, he's a tackle. I don't know which side he plays on, to be honest, but he's really
recovering
good.
from an ACL tear, so
Remember, I'm pretty sure the
They might
Titans
need
drafted
that.
some dude last year and he completely like didn't do anything.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they cut him. Yeah, the dude they cut
Isaiah
last year
Wilson.
because
Someone-
in the first
He was
round.
a first
Isaiah
round
Wilson.
pick. Yeah.
Yeah,
He-
the guy's a goof.
That sucks, dude. Having a first round
Yeah,
pick
that's-
like end up like that.
Literally a bust. I mean, didn't the
Oh,
Titans have another
cool.
problem this year with one of their draft picks in the later rounds? Like a dude just got caught for something. I don't know, but they draft weird. They
Wait,
literally look at. I don't know how they draft.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the
they
first
drafted-
round pick they had last year, and then they traded him to the Dolphins, and the Dolphins cut him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
who you're
and then,
talking about?
and then they cut him too.
I forgot what his
Yeah.
name is.
That was Isaiah
Isaiah
Wilson.
Will just
That was
Yeah.
Isaiah Wilson. They had another person though that had problems.
Wait,
this
Yeah, I
this
There's
year.
remember.
another
I remember
guy?
what you're talking about.
Yeah, they had like
Another
another
guy
guy
this
that
year.
had problems this year.
Oh,
But
this
I
year?
just, anyways, I just thought of another really good team, the Bengals.
That's true. The Bengals do
The
need.
Bengals
The
signed-
Bengals have cap, I
oh,
know
offensive line.
that, and
Will
yeah,
they do it
just-
though?
Mhm.
I don't know. The Bengals don't really pick people up on free agency that much. They
seem
could have just trade.
content with that O line for some weird reason.
They're just a weird organization to be honest. The
Yeah.
Bengals are very like just different organization than
That
what
is
it
true.
needs
They
to
do-
be.
They do need to fix on.
yeah, I mean, all right, because right now the Bengals have a 25 million cap apparently, so they could offer
25
They're
him.
million.
not
Yeah, they
trying to
could-
sign it to bro. They didn't even try to go after like Alejandro Villanueva or all these other tackles that were on the market.
Dude, it doesn't make sense. They like hate Joe
How?
Burrow or something.
They're trying to kill him, bro. They don't draft any tackles, and nor are they getting tackles
I
in
don't
free
I don't
agency.
really hate the Jamar Chase pick, but definitely they need to get.
I don't
a
know,
tackle.
bro, because
Here's
I think
the
Penny
thing, like,
Sewell is a better pick for him.
if-
If they're not
if
getting
they
any free
get
agency
him-
tackles,
If they get him, then the Jamar Chase pick is really good.
Mhm.
I mean,
Right,
but
Mhm.
you think the Bengals still need help with like both tackle positions, both guard positions, and the center position? Like that's
They have
everything.
one guy
No,
who's decent.
Jonah Williams. Jonah
They signed
Williams from last
Spain.
year?
He's okay.
Oh
He's
yeah,
alright.
Spain. They also
Quinn
got
Spain this year.
Riley
He
Reeve,
didn't do.
who's
He didn't really help
serviceable.
him out that
They
much.
got-
last
they
year.
He's
got-
decent.
They got an
And then-
Alabama, Jonah Williams. He tore his ACL, I think. Was it last year? I don't remember.
I
Did
don't
they
know.
have Jonah Williams?
Or
I
is
don't
it? I
know.
think it was the Alabama guy.
I know who you're talking about.
I mean, if Joe Burrow gets injured again with like another ACL,
Yeah.
MCL tear,
Yeah,
or
they
something,
do have Jonah
in
Williams.
his O line, and
Right.
that means I feel like Joe Burrow's career is just gonna be screwed because
Yeah.
they really need to build on the O line. If Joe Burrow does get injured because of his O line, that means that Jamar Chase pick was literally useless
Yeah, facts.
because they're gonna have just backups throwing to him.
Hopefully not though.
Yeah.
All right. So
hopefully not.
now
I
we're
don't
going
know
to
what's
switch
going on.
over. We're going to talk about PFF's top 10 quarterbacks. So PFF ranked their quarterbacks recently going into the 2021 NFL season. Number 1, they had Patrick Mahomes. 2, Tom Brady. 3, Aaron Rodgers. 4, Russell Wilson. 5, Deshaun Watson. 6, Josh Allen. 7, Dak Prescott. 8, Lamar Jackson. 9, Matt Ryan. And 10, Baker Mayfield. So let's start off with the number 1, Patrick Mahomes at number 1. I honestly,
There's-
I had him at number 2, but I mean,
All right.
having him at number 1 makes sense.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say
I
there's
mean,
nothing to say with him at one. Like
Yeah,
I didn't think anyone would have anyone else besides Patrick Mahomes at one.
I got Rodgers
agree.
at
I
one.
had Rodgers at 1.
Rodgers at
yeah I'm
one.
sure I feel like Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes
Going-
because I have Aaron Rodgers
it's
at 2
interchangeable. Those top two.
and Mahomes at 1, but they're very close. Like they
Yeah,
can literally
they are.
switch like
Rodgers
that.
and
Nothing is
So
like, I mean,
Rodgers-
Pat, like that. Actually, honestly, that might change my mind a little bit because Mahomes' O line just got boosted infinitely. Like they brought in Joe Tooney, Kyle Long. Who else did they get?
They
I know
drafted,
they drafted
Creed
Creed
Humphrey.
They that O line is gonna be insane.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I
Mahomes
think the
could
O-line
very
boosted a lot.
Mahomes. It's not crazy to say that he'll be number 1. I mean, number 1 or number 2, he's gonna be somewhere in that vicinity. Like he's gonna be
Yeah,
amazing
I
next
think
year.
without an injury, I think Mahomes is
That's fair.
definitely gonna be
Number
number
one.
one, dude. I think I
Yeah.
can guarantee it.
I agree. I have him as my number 1 too.
I mean, like the weapons he has in comparison to
To Rodgers.
Rodgers is
True.
it's pretty significant in my opinion.
Oh, are we talking about like the situation?
No,
I'm
we're
just saying,
talking
like,
about, heading into
quarterback
next year,
performance, dude.
performance next
Oh.
year. I think
Well, I mean,
I'd have Mahomes.
listen.
I'd have Mahomes over Rodgers.
When you're horizontal falling and you're throwing it and you literally smack it right into your receiver's
dude's
face
helmet,
mask, that's literally
dude.
insane. That's actually
Yeah.
insane. I don't know how any
I
human
hated
being
watching
can do that.
Super Bowl so
That's
much, man.
that's freakish.
Is
For
it
number
just-
okay.
Sorry, I want to say one thing before we
Go ahead,
move
yeah.
on. Is it just me, or does it feel like whenever you watch like Mahomes and Rodgers, everyone just drops like the potential interceptions on those two quarterbacks?
That's
Yeah,
see
true.
it all
like
the time.
I
Very
love
true.
watching
Dude.
when the Bears play Rodgers and they drop like 4 of his interceptions in one game. Like
That's
they
true.
don't want to pick him off. Like Rodgers has like the best touchdown interception. Or I think Mahomes has the best touchdown interception ratio.
Well, I feel like Rodgers is more impressive
Currently,
though,
but
'cause-
obviously Rodgers has played longer.
yeah.
Rodgers, what he had almost a 10 touchdown interception ratio last year. He's the king of never turning over the ball, and yeah, I think Mahomes had a good amount of dropped interceptions last year. I think I think he definitely had more than Rodgers, but in the second half of the year he had a decent amount of those. I mean, but definitely they don't want to take the ball away from them when you're watching.
So
them.
weird.
It
It's
is
so
really
weird.
weird.
I
It's
think
very
it's some psychological thing, dude. You're like, oh
And
my
you're just
god.
not expecting it.
Yeah, you're like, dude, did Patrick Mahomes just throw that?
Yeah, I'm sure. So moving on to number 2, PFF has Tom Brady as their second best quarterback.
No.
Which I'm gonna be honest, I think he's a good quarterback, no matter how old he is. But I don't have him even in my top 5. I have him at number 8.
He's not even top
He's
10.
not in
bro.
my top 10 either.
My top 10.
But I know his performance.
I have him
so-
at number
Oh,
8.
here's the
If you're
thing.
f-
Here, go ahead, Sol.
I'm saying if we're talking about performance, I feel like number 2 isn't crazy at all. I think he deserves number 2. But I'm saying in terms of like talent and stuff, I don't think Brady is that good.
Are you?
Even
I
though-
mean,
even though he's-
I think.
I
he could go-
agree with Saul. I agree with Saul. His situation around him is perfect. So if you're saying performance-wise top 10, that's not crazy to say at all. But if I'm talking about
Yeah.
actual skill, he's not in my top 10 or even like.
Listen,
he's
he
not in
doesn't
my
have
top 10.
athletic skill, but the dude is extremely smart. He's one of the
Yeah.
best minds as quarterbacks. The dude can read a defense and pick it apart just like that. That's why he won
Yeah.
so many Super Bowls. That's why I have him in my top 10, because he still won that many Super Bowls.
Oh,
Not
if
with
you
his
give-
athletic
if you
ability,
give
but
any
because
quarterback that
dude just-
situation, you give
He's
Kirk
so
Cousins.
smart.
You give Kirk
It
Cousins
doesn't
that
matter what
situation, he wins the
situation
Super
it is.
Bowl.
This
Dude,
man literally
there's-
picks
you
apart
are not
defenses.
comparing
You're
Tom
right.
Brady to Kirk
He's in the top
Cousins,
10. I
dude.
changed my mind. He's in the top 10.
Dude, you are not comparing
If
Tom Brady to
if Kirk Cousins
Cousins
was
right
on that
now.
Buccaneers team with
Dude,
that O line,
stop.
those receivers, that
Stop.
defense, he wins the Super Bowl. Like,
What?
But
No, I honestly don't
It's
think
I
so.
possible,
don't think
but-
so,
That's
dude.
possible,
do you-
but I don't think so. I
Dude,
think
you're
Tom
telling
Brady
me-
was a huge
they
reason why
have
they
the
won.
same record, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Abdul,
It's possible they win that Super Bowl run because their defense played phenomenal.
oh,
but
I'm saying that he has the same amount of chances, or he has the same percentage chance as
No.
Brady. I'm not saying that he'll
look at
like,
James Winston.
guaranteed.
So
win
you
one.
think Kirk Cousins would beat the the Packers in the NFC Championship game?
with that team, with that studded team, yes, bro. Those receivers.
Oh, what? No.
Dude, no,
No,
man.
those
No.
receivers, that defense was pressuring Aaron Rodgers constantly that game. There was no O-line by the Packers that game. Aaron Rodgers had no time to throw the ball. The defense was stunning that game. And then you have the receivers getting open 24/7. The Packers cornerbacks are disgusting that game. So Kirk Cousins could throw an open ball to them. Kirk Cousins
Cornerback?
can even throw a
Not
50-50
even
ball.
that.
Like, if you're
There's
saying
one
this, if you're
cornerback
saying
does
Kirk
that.
Cousins wins that game, Tom Brady won that game with 3 interceptions in a half. That is absurd. No quarterback should ever win that game when you're doing that bad in one half.
Dude,
It's a
Tom Brady
fool.
literally puts fear into like defensive players
Dude,
because
it's
he can
mental. It's
literally
all mental.
he knows
Like,
them.
I don't
He
understand
can
it.
pick them. He can pick them apart just like that. Tom Brady's extremely
Yeah.
intelligent.
Kirk
Like
Cousins
he's the
was-
smartest mind
Oh,
of a QB there
This
is.
is what I'm gonna just stop talking about this because I think it's very stupid to think about a hypothetical
Yeah, that's true.
like this. But I have Tom Brady in my top 5. At first, I didn't. I actually have Tom Brady at 5, but at first I didn't because I remembered the first half of Tom Brady's season, and his first half wasn't very good. But the second half, he really picked it up, and I think it's because he started buying into Bruce Arians' system a lot more and just understanding how to play it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And I think the chemistry also came into fruition. And his stats in the second half of the season were very good. So I mean, I just don't see he hasn't fallen off, and he's so old. I don't think this is the year that he's gonna fall off. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's why I have him at 8. I want to put him in my top 5, even though like 5 is still like it's not anything too crazy. I still think the dude is still just a freak of a QB, and he's still the GOAT. I mean, the dude didn't win 8 Super Bowls for no reason, just because he was helped by the
7.
system.
He won 7.
7, my bad, 7. Just
He's
because he's helped by a
predicting the
system.
future.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
no.
figured.
Brady won 8.
Honestly, no.
It's because that dude just knows how to pick apart any defense he plays, and that's just if you watch his game, you'll know because the dude literally just is so good at the
He's
game.
smart, yeah,
he's
he's
literally
definitely a
he's
smart
so good at
quarterback.
the game.
But
It's
Yeah,
not
I
like a
just-
fluke
talent-wise, I
you
don't
won
think
the
he's
Super
top
Bowls.
10.
It's just I don't know why PFF hates
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers
Yeah,
with a
too.
passion to put Tom Brady over him.
That is
Because like that's the one that
disrespectful.
is really weird. To
Yeah.
put the dude who's coming off of an well, I mean like we can transition into Aaron Rodgers off of this.
Mhm.
Because Aaron Rodgers is literally coming off an MVP season. He was the MVP. And they're
Yeah.
gonna say Tom Brady is a better quarterback than him. And it's like on what basis?
Situation
Like
wise, Brady's in a much better situation. But
Maybe because he won the
but
Super Bowl. I
performance
don't know.
wise and skill wise,
Abdul-
Rodgers is on a different planet than Brady.
Even if he was in a better situation, Rodgers still outperformed him in like every.
yeah,
I think-
I don't
I think
even
I
I
think
don't
Rodgers-
even
the
buy into
offense
the
outperformed
performance
him in every
thing.
stat. Huh?
I don't think Tom Brady's gonna outperform Aaron Rodgers
Yeah, me
Yeah.
neither.
in
I don't think he's
stats.
gonna outperform either.
No
I
matter
think because I have Rodgers in my number 2.
Mhm.
If PFF has a number 3, which I mean that doesn't make any sense because that dude is arguably top 2 NFL. He's the best quarterback all time, and arguably best quarterback all time. Like the dude just came back from MVP season. That's like
guaranteed for me.
disrespect.
Especially with like Amari Rodgers coming in and then Funches coming back
Yo,
and then
Devin
feel
Funches,
like-
bro.
You
I feel like-
you gotta
and then-
you gotta like
and then MVS
Relax your
maybe
expectations.
improving. We'll see, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean,
if
you
MVS
just
can
hope for a
Rodgers
hope-
might
catch
go- he might go
half
off
of his
again,
balls,
bro.
You
dude.
just have to hope that Devontae Adams stays healthy and Rodgers will get
And our
he'll get his
O-line stays
stats, dude.
See,
our O-line stays healthy as well.
I like Amari Rodgers. I've liked him in college, and I was sad to see him go to the Packers. I was hoping he didn't, and he would go to a team I'd like to watch. But I think he's gonna do really good as a wide receiver too on that team. To be honest, I think he's a sleeper in the.
So
he's a
if
slot,
if
he's a slot.
Rodgers doesn't play for the Packers this year, is Jordan Love a top 3 quarterback next year?
Top
What
3 worst
question is that,
quarterbacks
boy?
in the league.
Maybe in,
Hey,
maybe in your
hey,
dreams, but
Jordan Love
based
not
off
in real life.
based off the
Jordan-
videos that Suleiman saw, he's easily a top 5 quarterback.
Hey,
Based
he's
off
improving,
of the
Jordan Love
three
plays next
clips
year,
of Jordan Love
improving.
throwing that is on the internet now, it is not looking like he's gonna be a top 10.
dude, that was start of 2020. He's
Yeah,
Bro,
dude,
2020 is a
way
year
better.
ago.
don't care.
Yes, a
2020
year
was a
ago.
year
Pro
ago.
days.
That's
He's
not
gotten
that
better.
long ago.
He's gotten better since those throws. Since
I
that
hope you get
He-
better.
He
Yeah.
hasn't played the game
Yeah.
to get experience. How does he
Hey,
get
get
better?
worse.
Hey, look, bro. Jordan Love plays next season. He'll be better than Fields. He'll have a better season. than
Whoa,
Okay.
Mark it,
whoa,
bro.
whoa, whoa.
That's-
Mark it.
That's,
All right, no,
Mark
it.
we
I mean,
gotta
he's probably
remember
not
that.
gonna-
We gotta
that's
remember
as
it's
that.
not gonna
biased of a
play,
take you
though.
can get. That's as
Love is
biased of a
probably-
take you can get.
That is
Yeah.
absurd. But
I
we'll remember that.
disagree
We'll
with
remember that.
that.
Love
To be
is not gonna
honest,
play though, but
Think about
I
where
feel
Fields
like
was.
if he did play,
Listen, if Fields went into the draft in
Any other year,
what
he'd probably
2019
be a number 1.
No,
or 2020, I mean,
2020.
yeah, he would be top 10 coming out of that
I would have
season.
been this first or
would've
second
been
quarterback.
two.
He probably been first.
he would have
second
been after
quarterback, second
Burrow, I think.
Yeah, 20. Yeah,
I mean, he
after
could have even
Burrow.
went before Burrow.
it doesn't matter
Yeah,
though.
that's
'Cause
very true.
Rodgers is staying, but
2018, he definitely
Actually, I
would've been
think
a-
he
a
would have been the
situation.
first quarterback off of the board considering that season he had in 2019.
Was insane. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
literally crazy.
so
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you could say that.
yeah.
All right, and for number 4, PFF has Russell Wilson as their fourth best quarterback, which
him-
I have him at number 3.
I had
have him
him
as
as
sixth
my
best.
I had him as my 4th as well. I think that's
I have him as
respectable. I
sixth
mean,
best.
Russell Wilson in the first 8 weeks of the season, everyone's like, "Yo, why is no one giving an MVP vote to Russ? Oh my God, he's so great because he had like 28 touchdowns and 6 interceptions or something. He had something along that stat line of 20. He had 28 touchdowns in the first half of the season, and he had 12 touchdowns in the second half of the season. He's an MVP in the beginning, and I think that now that they fired their OC, maybe that their offense will just become more creative because last year
Who's in OC?
his name's like Schaden. I think it was Schottenheimer. I don't know, but he's been their OC
Yeah.
for a very long time. I don't know his name, but
Wait, the new one or the old one?
no, the old one.
Who's the new one?
Don't know who their new one.
The old
is.
one's the new one or the old one you want?
The new
he
one.
wants a new one.
His name's Shane Waldron. So
Where did he come from?
And who is the old one?
He comes from the Rams. The old one's Brian Schottenheimer. I know who you're talking
Okay.
about.
Oh, he came
Hey,
from the
dude.
Rams.
Yeah,
That's
anytime you hear the Rams,
yeah.
your
That's
eyes go up.
offense.
You're
Yeah,
like,
I said,
whoa.
okay. That's not bad. That's pretty good. I like
Anybody
that.
under the
Two-game
Rams.
I think
coordinator.
he'll
So
still have another good
like
year.
that.
I mean, he has Tyler Lockett and he has DK Metcalf to catch his balls, and then they brought back
And-
Chris Carson. So
Dwayne
that's gonna be.
Eskridge.
Wait, did you say passing coordinator? Passing game coordinator, Jamil?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
I don't know.
that's nice.
I have Russ at 3. I mean, he's just. I know he's kind of shaky in games, but he's just been consistently a top 5 quarterback in the league for a while now.
True.
So
Yeah, I have him
feel
at
like he throws
5.
too many
Yeah,
interceptions.
I'm
dude.
at 3. I think he's still
Yeah,
a crazy
yes.
guy.
Number 5.
And plus, with that offensive line doesn't help.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry,
the
four.
they brought
Too
in
many
Gabe Jackson. Is
interceptions,
that his
so?
name?
Yeah, I feel
Who?
like Russ
They
throws
brought
too
in
many
Gabe
interceptions
Jackson.
and
he
big
did not
moments.
throw many
I don't know.
interceptions. So
He won like 40
he
and
does.
12. I'm pretty sure it was.
Remember
Dude,
Yeah,
he's
those
bro,
thinking
games?
of the Super
Play
Bowl.
against the
That's what he's
Cardinals,
thinking
bro.
of.
So
Okay.
I was just thinking of the Buda Baker and DK Metcalf thing.
Yeah.
he had
Uh.
13 last year with 40 touchdowns,
Yeah.
31 to 5, 35 to 7. I
Dude,
don't
he
know.
threw-
threw,
I
he
don't
threw an
know, it feels
interception
like-
against
That's a
the
good ratio.
Patriots in the Super Bowl, Jamil.
It feels like
Yeah.
he's throwing a lot, dude. Cause just he
That
throws
is
it at
not a
the
lot,
worst
the
moments. I
interceptions.
remember he was throwing it at the dumbest moments, and it would be
He's a clutch quarterback
Yeah,
for the
he
most
takes risks.
part.
He just
Yeah.
takes risks.
I mean, are you thinking
Dude,
about in
he's
the
not
Rams
Mr.
game when
Throwaway
he threw
like
the
Mr.
interception
Rogers
and it led
over
to a
here.
pick six?
I don't know. I felt like he threw way more interceptions towards the end of the season.
He
He
did.
probably
He did.
That's
Yeah,
why-
he had.
That's what made him fall out of the MVP race, just his interceptions. That's why.
Well, also
I
his
think it was
touchdowns
more
went from
just the
28 to
offense as a
12.
whole just
like,
didn't look
Yeah,
good.
and they
Yeah.
started losing games.
yeah. I just think that he wasn't just performing as good as he did. Well, he's still performing really good.
Hmm.
Like
It's not
people,
fair to compare interceptions to Rodgers too.
Yeah,
Rodgers
exactly.
that's
throws
true.
Rogers throws the ball away a lot.
unseen amount.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
just
also
5 interceptions or 6. What did he have? I think 5 with
Was it
47.
40 plus
45?
touchdowns. It's
46
insane.
and 5.
yeah.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
think
you
it
want to
was
go on to
5.
number 5?
Yeah.
All right, so for the 5th quarterback is our boy Deshaun Watson, the
Hey,
fugitive.
who's boy? Relax with using that. Relax with that.
We do not support Deshaun
Yeah,
Watson.
I had him as
he is not our
I had
boy.
him as my number 3. Honestly,
Adam is my number 5 as well.
I had him as my number 7, bro.
he
That-
Talking about production,
I have him at
like
6.
production. I
at
feel
4.
like with what happened, I feel like he's not gonna have the passion to play for the Texans at all. I feel like he's just gonna do
I mean, I don't think he has an option where he needs to play. I mean, with
if he
everything
plays,
that's coming
his
out.
situation sucks as
But-
well, but he was still top
He's
3
gonna have
last
to.
year in
I'm s-
production. So I mean,
Yeah, I
He
agree
cannot
with Paul on
play.
the sentiment that he doesn't want to play for the Texans. They made that clear this offseason and last year before all of the massage parlor stuff came out. But dude, there's no denying his talent. He's great. He's extremely mobile. And he can sling the ball. What more can you ask for in a quarterback?
I think
Yeah, I
it's
agree. I mean,
concerning that
he's
they
still- he's
drafted
still a-
Davis
he's
Mills
still
with
a
their
freak.
first pick.
He's
So
top
I don't
5
know
in
if he's gonna play,
talent.
but he's recently been posting workout videos regularly on his Instagram. So
I mean, AB was posting workout videos.
oh,
Like,
true.
sometimes it doesn't mean everything.
Yeah, it
dude.
definitely doesn't mean everything. I mean, there's definitely sort of there's got to be many precautions that has to be cleared.
Don't buy it.
Bros and post workout videos.
Bro, Chosen Rosen?
I think
You mean
now
San
with this
Francisco
whole
Savior?
I think now with this whole thing happening with Deshaun Watson with the massage parlors,
Mhm.
I don't think he has much of a choice where he chooses to play, because now a lot of
Right.
teams are thinking about, we don't want to get him because we don't want that type of person coming in our city,
Yeah.
and that can cause the fan base to be mad. Because
It's
I mean,
big
like
in the NFL.
it is big in the NFL too, especially when he
I thought it's like
allegedly
not.
sexually harassed that many
Well,
people.
I mean, if you're gonna try to
But then
compare
it's,
this
like,
to the
not,
Big Ben
dude.
case, like I mean, 2 compared to 25, like
He's not gonna play with the
You
passion.
look at the NFL and it's like, all right, there's Big Ben.
Mhm.
I mean, Kareem Hunt, sure, but Tyreek Hill, there have been players with some
questionable
bad
stuff,
things
yeah.
surrounding them, and as long as they don't get convicted,
the thing is, to this
They kinda
magnitude,
get
we've
away
never
with
seen to
it.
this
Cohen,
magnitude. Like
bro.
Tyreek Hill,
Like,
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill
like,
beat his kid.
like the
It-
fans of those teams, like they don't care, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
Whatever
we'll get
team
Bears
he ends
fans,
up
bro.
on, I don't think the fans will be mad.
I don't
when
know.
you
I
think
got
of
the
it,
first
like,
game, and then you watch him play, and then you're like, oh, like if you ask a Browns fan, like, what do you think of Kareem Hunt? You're gonna say, oh, I love the player.
I mean,
I
I wouldn't
don't-
mind
I
Kareem
don't-
Hunt too.
I don't know about
I-
that one. Because
Listen,
I
I
literally
don't.
said,
I think the Kareem Hunt thing is controversial in my opinion because I don't see that. Well, let's not get into that. Let's not get
yeah,
into
yeah.
that.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
that's-
say, I was gonna say,
alright,
I don't know if
politics
fans
off
think that
the
certain
podcast.
way
I
because
mean,
I said that the Bears with Deshaun Watson would win a Super Bowl in 2018, and then I got downvoted 100 times. I'm like, I just stated a
Here's the
fact.
thing.
Like, people do not want him on their team. Like,
It's the initial reaction that's bad, and then once you get them settled in and start playing games, it starts to fade away. That's what you see.
yeah.
But then you
Yeah.
also realize Big Ben had one case in which like that blew away. This dude got like 30 cases, which is
Yeah.
not going away.
yeah.
Dude,
And
I'm
even the
surprised-
lawyers was like scared.
I'm
Like
surprised.
the dude
Bears
was
fans-
like, the dude was like, yeah, we definitely got problems.
Mhm.
Like this is like a much bigger case than
Dude, I
any
just
normal
think
case.
that once that stuff stops getting brought up in the media and somebody starts playing, people forget about it.
I mean, I think he's an extremely good quarterback. I just think
And-
he's a fifth.
Yeah.
But
I'm
I
surprised-
just
Sorry.
I mean, I'm just talking about like the publicity thing. Like it happens in like every sport. Every sport,
Yeah.
there are players who do stuff bad. And if I were to bring up a name like Kareem Benzema, you wouldn't know that Kareem Benzema, who's Real Madrid striker, has a pretty bad past in
Yeah.
terms of
But
some
we're
stuff.
Bro.
I don't even know
We're
who he is.
in culture and generation, to be honest. Like
I don't pay attention.
the
to soccer
sexual
much, really.
harassment cancellation is
Yeah, now
A lot
people
more
are
difficult
more
than when like Big Ben was doing it too.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
I was
now
gonna
people are more. I want to say more like
zero
Sensitive?
tolerance.
more
I
spoken.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
PC.
less tolerance, more outspoken, and more they want punishments for this
Yeah.
type of thing than it was back then.
I was gonna say Bears fans. I mean, they forgave Tariq Cohen pretty easily after the Kyle Long incident or whatever.
Hey,
Dude, I'd be
that was
confused,
fun,
dude.
man.
I was
That
like,
accident.
I was like, dude,
Yeah,
what did
that
Tariq Cohen
It's
do?
a locker
I
room
was so
thing,
That
bro.
was funny. That was funny. I mean, Kyle Long didn't even like care. Kyle Long was like
Long
fine.
was a champ about it. That was one of
Kyle
my
Long was
favorite
making
interviews.
Yeah, no, it was actually a hilarious interview.
Dude, I was trying to tell a joke and I couldn't be sarcastic because I was laughing so hard. I was like, oh my god.
No, that was.
In the part in my take interview with Kyle Long after that, I
I was about to say,
recommend it.
like Tariq Cohen's is a really nice guy. Like, it's a genuinely like nice person.
All right, I think next we can go into PFFs, and
Yeah,
they have
Go ahead.
Josh Allen,
Which is
I'm
six.
sure,
Yeah.
which I'm sure Abdul hates because Lamar
No.
Jackson.
I think I have him at 6 as well. I think it's fair.
Really, I have him at 4.
Yeah,
I have him
I have
at 3.
I have him at
I have
3.
him at 5.
That range, like
Yeah, I
five,
got
like
3.
5 and 6. Like, I mean, I think that's fair. But I think there's too many. Like, he's not better than Mahomes, Rodgers, Wilson. If Deshaun Watson
Really?
plays, I think Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun
You can
Watson's
say the
better.
first
I-
two that you said for
Yeah, the
sure,
first two.
but there
I
are
think he's
arguments
arguably-
after that.
Mhm,
I
that
think
is
I think
true.
he could be arguably better than Russ. I don't have him better than Russ, but I think he could arguably be better than Russ. Do you not
Dude,
see how we play? I don't think you watch a single Bills game, Abdul.
Yes, I did
I-
watch Bills game.
Your
dude.
favorite
I
receiver is Stephon
had,
Diggs.
yeah, I know.
and
I
don't
love
think you watch a
Stephon
single Bill-
Diggs. I love Stephon Diggs, but
I don't think you watch a single Bills game if you think that Josh Allen can't be arguably better than Russell Wilson. Josh Allen was amazing last year.
He
Josh Allen
was.
was so good.
Here's the
He's
thing.
an
All right.
MVP
I don't
candidate.
know.
Like
Yeah,
top 3.
so Russell Wilson was the MVP candidate for the first half of the season, but Josh Allen was an MVP candidate for the second half of the season. Which part of the season is more important?
that is true.
Second half.
Yeah.
But I think with
Here's
Josh
the
Allen,
thing.
people are expecting him to take another leap that he did in this year. People are expecting that same sort of growth.
I disagree, dude. If he played like how he did in the second half of the season, he's gonna be a top 3 quarterback.
I agree. Yeah, he could possibly be.
He
I
was-
don't
And
think-
he
I
say
don't
the same
think.
if
if Russ
he
plays the
kept
same as
up-
he played the first half of the season.
I don't think it'd
he'll
be
like
better
the
than
second
Rodgers and
best
Mahomes, but
quarterback.
I think like, it can be like third.
Dude, but here's the thing. If he had the same performance as he did the entire so if he has like the second half performance of last season as his entire performance this season.
Mhm.
No improvement, no getting worse, which is a very hard thing to ask because I don't know if he can play at that same level for an entire season. He could win MVP.
Mhm.
I mean, but you also
I just
realize
think
how crazy Aaron Rodgers
talent-wise,
did.
I just think
Like
Oh
talent-wise,
yeah,
Rodgers
their
dude. I mean,
quarterbacks
I'm not disagreeing,
for
but
his last season for Aaron Rodgers, literally insane. It was literally freakish
True.
how good he was.
But that range is fair. That range is fair in my opinion from what PFF gave.
For me, I just see Josh Allen as they need to establish a run game for me because I
Oh,
feel
that's
like
facts.
with the way that their offense is schemed and the way that it's happening, if you shut down Josh Allen or just get like some real pressure on him, they can't do much besides throw the ball. And I know that's how like the new generation kind of football is kind of working, but you still want to at least pick up like 4 yards on first down with a run every once in a while.
I mean, he was like their running,
Mhm.
pretty
Yeah,
much
Devin
their
dude.
like running
Singletary was
back.
not good last year, and
especially
Zach
at
Moss
the
was
goal
injured.
line.
Devin
Yeah,
Singletary is better than what people give him credit for because he's bad in fantasy. That's
That's
what
true.
my
Yeah, I think
opinion
he's solid. I think Devin Singletary is still solid.
I
He's
think Moss
good, like in between the 20s. He's just not good, like inside the 20.
Yeah, he's not. He's not an
yeah,
end.
and Josh Allen's amazing inside the 20s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they do
They definitely need to
complement each
establish
other
a
that
run
way.
game. But then also you look at the division. The division got better. I mean, they
The division
didn't
was always stacked.
like the Patriots got insanely better. The Dolphins got better, and even the Jets got better. I mean, I'm not saying
That's
that
what
any of those teams are like last year. Those teams except for the Dolphins were free dubs. So like I mean, it's
I
definitely
mean,
gonna
no,
be tough on
Patriots are
him this
still
year.
well coached. The Patriots still put up a threat against a
Yeah,
lot of
true.
teams. I mean, they weren't like
So
easy
it's
dubs.
gonna give him trouble this
Even though
year
they didn't do good, and
because
they
he
weren't
doesn't
easy
have a
dubs.
freebie division.
That's true.
I agree with Abdul on that.
I
Um,
just
go ahead.
I don't know. The almost the entire thing, like the entire Bills team remained the same. They have the same head coach,
Yeah,
same
but I'm
offensive
saying like
coordinator.
the division got better. That's why like they stayed the
Yeah,
same, but
but
everyone else got better.
yeah, but I don't think like saying like, oh, now the Jets are a competitive team.
No, the Jets are
Like
not even close to
I don't
competitive.
buy that.
I think the
And
Jets are a better team.
Yeah.
yeah, but
The-
are they competitive yet? I don't think so.
The
That's
it's
true. I
more
think
it's
their
more
defense will get
alongside
a
the Patriots
boost.
and the Dolphins being a threat to them.
I know they're for a
Like,
fact their
in their
defense will get a
game.
boost with Robert Saleh, head coach in that team. But yeah, so moving on to number 7, PFF has Dak Prescott as their number 7 quarterback, and I honestly have him at 7 too.
I have him at 7 as well. I think it's fair.
I have him around there.
Dak at 6. I like Dak. I think that he is gonna come back and act like there was never an injury. Dak has just been impressive every year, and I feel like he's slowly been improving at throwing the ball every year. No one's giving him credit for that.
I mean,
No, I
unless
agree.
Mike
I mean-
McCarthy.
It's just his defense. Like it's all dependent on his defense. You can see him when he's down 35 and he can pull off a comeback. But that defense is going to be key to their success in the division next year because
Yeah.
he was on pace to be the highest passing quarterback by like 2,000 yards in like the first couple of games because he was always forced to drop 500 yards. And him coming back, he has CeeDee Lamb, who just finished his rookie year. He has Amari Cooper. He has Zeke, who is fully healthy. They should be good on the offensive side of the ball. And then they also drafted, I think his name's Simi Fehoko. So they're giving more weapons for him. And then the offensive line, which is key, is coming back. The offensive line was bottom 5 PFF rated last year because they were injured. And them coming back is key to their success as well. I think Dak is going to have a great year.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless like Mike McCarthy doesn't put Zeke in like a prison cell like he does like every other running back, I feel like the Cowboys are gonna be like really, really good. And I think that's why Dak is gonna succeed like crazy. I think
If
he's gonna.
Mike McCarthy
Bro, I think he's
smashes
gonna have-
watermelons every game, though, they might win every game.
Yeah. I feel like Dak is gonna have. He's gonna lead the league in passing yards definitely.
I could see
Would you
that.
have him as Saul?
I had him around 7. Let me check. I think it was. Let's see.
Soul's
Yeah,
looking.
so I had him around. I had him at 9. So it was.
Yeah, I
kinda
have him at
farther
9 as
than you
well.
guys. Yeah, but I still think he's gonna be really good. It just depends on Mike McCarthy because he
Yeah,
sucks.
dude, he was showing out last year.
Yeah.
You just have to hope that he comes back healthy.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
if he comes
true.
back healthy, he's just gonna be insane.
My one concern with Dak is he's like a ghost in the first half. Like for some reason his stat lines always
that is
come
true.
in the
That is
second
true.
half.
Yeah.
And I had him in fantasy a couple years, and like I'd be like, "What the hell is he doing? He has
Oh
4
my
points at
There
halftime."
was there
And
was a game this
yeah,
year. He
He
had
gets
5
like
points at
250
half, and
yards
he
and 3
ended with
touchdowns in
40.
the second half.
He scored
Yeah,
35 points in fantasy and a half. Like,
he's a ghost in the first half, and then he's a demon in the second half. It's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. But
I think it's more just like he has that comeback mentality because his team is down 35 going into the third quarter. But I
Yeah,
think that's
I mean,
fair.
that's-
Where
that's
I
on
think that's
him.
fair.
Yeah, that's-
'Cause, I mean, I have him at 7-2, so I think PFF ranks for him is fair. Because 7-9 is not too far off.
Mhm.
So that's fair
No.
for Dak, especially with that injury. He needs to prove himself this year. And for the eighth quarterback PFF ranked, they put Lamar Jackson, which I had at number 6 because I think Lamar Jackson is still
I
is
think
gonna have a
Lamar
bounce back
Jackson
year
is-
because I think last year was his bad year and he still
Mhm.
did decent. I think in my opinion, and they didn't have any receivers, and now they got receivers.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
had him
I
at
think
5.
he
Quarterbacks.
was still he had a down year last year and it was still a great year. He still had over 1,000 yards rushing. He had 26 to 6 touchdowns, interception. He was one of the most accurate quarterbacks. And he has no receivers last year. Last year, who was catching the ball? Hollywood Brown, who didn't do anything during the regular season. He only tried in the playoffs.
I think you mean he couldn't stay healthy, dude.
Oh yeah, he couldn't stay healthy as
Yeah.
well. But
And
then
and also the tight end kept dropping. I forgot his name.
yeah, Mark
Andrews.
Andrews couldn't hold on to the ball. The thing is, Lamar is so slept on because he's not a passing quarterback. Their entire team is the best. They're historically the best. They had the most rushing yards of any team of all time. They can run the ball well and they'll run it down your throat. And so next year, I think that he's gonna be even better next year. I think that they're sleeping on him. I had him at number 5. I think there's a couple quarterbacks that are ahead of him skill wise, but I think that people are sleeping on him just because he didn't have that 2019 MVP year.
Yeah, I think people are sleeping on him too. That's why I have him at number 6. I think he's near that top. I don't think he's better than Deshaun Watson
Yeah,
because
I don't
Deshaun
think that
Watson
either.
is still an athletic, physical specimen that does many things. But Lamar Jackson is still a very good quarterback, and that dude will dominate and have a bounce back year.
Yeah, and now he has
Yeah.
Rashad Bateman and
Yeah.
week 1
Sammy
Sammy
Watkins.
Watkins. Yo,
Sammy Watkins
Week
for
one,
one
Sammy
amazing
Sammy
game.
Watkins.
That's gonna be insane. I'm gonna pick him up for fantasy week 1 and then drop him after. That's what I usually do.
Yeah, even Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, like, dude, the way he was running, dude, like, I don't know how you can't put him. I think
He's
you
so
can't put. You
good,
have to put him
man.
like at least a top 5. Like, I think he's just insane.
Yeah,
His
agree
running
with
ability
you.
is just really good.
Yeah.
And even if he's like, even if he was average at throwing, which he isn't, I feel like he would still be maybe like top 15, top 10 quarterback.
Yeah,
I think that's good points, to be honest, because I think that gets overlooked a lot when you compare him to other quarterbacks, just because of like he gets like 400 more rushing yards than like the next highest QB,
Yeah.
which is an insane amount when you like compare stats.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
And go ahead.
I was just gonna say like Lamar Jackson. If you had you take away his passing stats and you only look at his rushing stats,
He's a top
he'd be
10
like a
running
top
back.
5 running back in terms of stats.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very true. That's very true.
I think
Yeah,
I
he
was
can-
seeing that he was he was top 3 in rushing and passing touchdowns over the past not rushing touchdowns, rushing yards and passing touchdowns over the past 2 years. So that's insane to even think about. Like obviously Derrick Henry's on top, but then him being a top 3 running back in yards or was it top it was top 5, my bad. Top 5.
Yeah, I agree. And for the next QB PFF ranked was Matt Ryan. No, my bad. Ryan Tannehill at number 9.
Oh yeah.
I will say Matt Ryan.
No,
Ryan
no,
Tannehill
it is
number
Matt
9.
Ryan. It is Matt Ryan.
It's Matt Ryan.
Is it Matt Ryan?
It is
Matt
Matt
Ryan.
Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just put Ryan.
okay. Well,
That's
okay.
why I
I'm
shook
probably
my
to mine
head,
because I have Ryan Tannehill at number 9.
Really?
Ryan
Yeah.
Tannehill's at my 8. but
Dude,
Matt Ryan's
this
not
one
on
is
the list.
just this one is
interesting.
not it.
Yeah.
I don't know what PFF is thinking, dude.
Bro, Matt Ryan's on an odd year, bro. What are you? He's gonna suck.
I had Matt Ryan right outside my top 10. I think
Yeah,
he's getting
he's
a
not
little
crazy.
disrespected, to be honest. I had him at the 11 range. I don't have him in my top 10. But with those weapons, I think it's going to be impossible to look at his stat line and not say he's top 10 by the end of the season.
I think he's top 15. I just think there's so many other
Yeah, just
quarterbacks.
the
Even with those
defense.
weapons, there's so many other quarterbacks that are just better than him.
Like-
Well, he has Arthur
Alright,
Smith
well,
now,
this
so
is the
that's,
thing
that
for
might be
me. I
better.
just think that like the 10 to 15 range is very interchangeable
Mhm.
in terms of like where you could put quarterbacks. I think like that tier of quarterbacks is like, there's an argument to put one above the other, but I think it's pretty fluid in terms of the rankings. But I don't think Matt Ryan should be cracking top 10 just because you just like he chokes games. Yeah, I
Mhm.
know it's his team, like it's the entire Falcons team, but a part of it is on him for not scoring in like fourth quarters
That's
because
true.
like I don't
And it's
know, there's just
consistent.
something about Matt Ryan that just I, I don't like when I watch him play because I just feel like he doesn't like winning games or
He's
something,
the
dude.
most sackable quarterback. You just watch
Yeah,
him
there.
get sacked.
Matt Ryan, he was really good, but he's not in his prime anymore. And he's just getting older, and he's just getting worse. So I think 2021, I don't think he's hitting that top 10 range.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
so either.
I have Ryan Tannehill actually on my number 9 instead of Matt Ryan, so I got
I
the
had
better Ryan
Justin
in my
Herbert
opinion.
as my number 9.
All right. Um, I'll leave my take for later.
I think Justin
So
Well,
Herbert.
anyone want to
I'll
talk about Matt
interject one
Ryan?
more.
Mhm.
I'll just say Ryan Tannehill is also in my top 10.
I had Ryan
Okay.
Tannehill above Justin Herbert
Dude,
at
I
8.
feel like Matt Ryan's like he's similar to like Jared Goff in terms of just
I didn't
how
put
they're
Matt
built.
Ryan in my top 10.
Like in a
I
good
mean
s-
Ryan Tannehill.
Matt Ryan in a
put-
good
did you put Justin
situation
Herbert in
won
your
an
top 10?
MVP. Like he's still.
I do have Herbert.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
have
I heard Herbert at 8 because I think
I
the
have
O
Herbert at
line
10.
and the
I heard about.
wide
I
receiver.
had Herbert at 9.
At 8. Because we're predicting next year, and I think that
Yeah.
given all the offseason moves with the offensive line, it's going to take him a while with all the coaching staff changes, I think, to get adjusted. But our coaching staff wasn't very good the first year, and he succeeded very well. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do in year 2.
But then
Yeah, I think
fully
he's a top
healthy
10.
Eckler,
I think his
fully
his
healthy
O-line-
Keenan Allen,
Healthy Eckler.
Derwin James,
Mhm.
Joey Bosa, all these pieces that are just going to be healthy.
I
Hopefully,
mean, better
hopefully
defense
healthy.
doesn't contribate to a better quarterback
No, but
play.
I'm
If
saying-
anything,
I'm
it
saying,
makes
yeah.
your quarterback play worse.
I think
Since
the
he threw a
biggest
left.
factor, the biggest factor in why I see Justin Herbert succeeding is just the O line. I think the revamped O line like significantly. I think with a good O line, he's gonna eat, bro. He's gonna do so
Yeah.
good.
It should
That's
easily be a top 10 unit on offensive lines. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, offensive
really
line's
exciting.
definitely.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so going off, everyone talked about their Justin Herbert, where they put him, right? Because everyone put him in somewhere.
Mhm.
Yeah, I put him 8.
All right.
I
So
have him
for
top 10.
yeah, wait, you didn't have him?
No.
Oh, all right. And
for
for
next year, you don't think he'll be a top 10 quarterback?
I mean,
man,
he
you also
could,
hate
but
Chargers?
I just
Order.
hate I hate Joe Lombardi, dude. I don't
do
believe
too.
in Joe Lombardi. I think he's
But
really
did you
gonna hold
love-
the offense
Yeah,
back.
Wasn't he the
Anything's
offensive
better than
coordinator on the
Anthony Lynn, though.
Saints?
I think if he could
You know,
succeed,
he was
No,
the
he was a
tight end
quarterback
coach
coach.
on the Saints, I think.
Was it
Oh,
tight end or quarterback? I think it was
Maybe
quarterback.
No,
quarterback.
the tight end coach on the
Interesting.
Saints is the Lions head coach now.
No, that's
Yeah,
Dan
yeah.
Campbell. You're right. I
I
was
think
mixing them
if
up.
he could
It was the
succeed
quarterback
with
coach.
Anthony Lynn, he could succeed with Joe Lombardi.
I agree.
I mean, but the thing was, Anthony Lynn, I don't think he was calling plays on offense. It was more Shane.
No, but he set a run scheme
Yeah.
offense for our team when we had bottom 3 line play and backup running backs most of the season.
Oh,
So,
what are you talking about? Our running back play was amazing.
and then next up on the PFF list is Baker Mayfield, and they have him ranked at 10. So, what do you guys think about that?
I don't have him in my top 10.
Me
I have
neither.
him, I have him in the 10 to 15 range, but I don't have him in my top 10.
Yeah, like
I don't know,
you said,
dude.
that 10 to 15 range is interchangeable. They're like all like the same like skill. I think he's a top 15 quarterback, like around that.
yeah. I would have
like,
about
more
11.
towards 15, but I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback.
I talked about this last week, and I said Baker was top 10. And I just really, all right, the reasoning behind it for me is Baker has, all right, his first year he played really well, and his second year he didn't play too well. And then he's I don't know, after his second year he's been improving. And I think he's just going to take this jump into like being a very good quarterback on the basis that Stefanski's his head coach, and he's just a tremendous offensive-minded coach. You have defenses have to respect the run game tremendously because of Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Is probably the best backfield duo there is. And then if OBJ and Baker find the connection, I don't know how likely it is to happen. I'll give it like a 25% chance to happen. But if that 25% chance comes to happen, then I think Baker with his connection with Jarvis is obviously really good. If he gets that same connection with OBJ, then that's going to be like just a very special offense because you have two really good wide receivers and two amazing running backs. And then I don't know, I just feel like it would be very hard for Baker to like not do extremely well in that circumstance. So that's like what I'm predicting to happen.
He's also got like Austin Hooper and
Yeah, I mean,
he has receiving
Joker.
line as well. So
it's a lot of
he's
people.
very
great
like
pieces around
well
him,
put.
definitely.
Yeah. I think it'll be good, but I don't think he's top 10.
Same.
I don't think he's near my top 10, to be honest. I view him more in that game manager role. And it's just like, I see this as like when people were kind of hyping up Jimmy Garoppolo when he had like decent seasons in San Francisco. I think Baker's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not going to say that, but I think it's that same idea where you have this really good offense, a really good scheme, and of course the quarterback's going to have a decent stat line. So that's kind of the way I see Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
That's
I
fair,
agree
but
with that.
I mean, I just feel like the way that the Browns offense is, it's not as much dump offs as it is for the 49ers. It requires a little bit more like throwing it down the field. So
But they're open downfield because of how much like bootlegs and play actions they're doing.
Yeah.
So like it's not like when you saw Odell catch deep balls, he was like 2 steps ahead of the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like also I think the Odell hype needs to stop. I don't think Odell is elite anymore, and I feel like I still get that vibe from a lot of like people in NFL media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
everyone
fallen
just
off.
likes to think about the catch he had and just how crazy of a season he had that year too.
Actually,
in
I
his
disagree with
rookie
you, though.
season.
First like 3
Sure,
years he was dominant. I will
I
give him
think-
that, but it's been like 5 years since then, I think.
I know, but I still think he still has like that immense talent with like his route running and his big hands. He's got great hands, and I think his balance
I
is
think
really good. I don't know. I feel like he's just
definitely.
waiting for the opportunity, waiting for that situation or moment to just break out, and I think he will. Maybe it won't be on the Browns, but I feel like eventually he'll break out and he'll go back to his former self because I think his talent is too good.
I
I'm
think
gonna be honest.
he's not with the Browns, I think he's old.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If he doesn't break out again with the Browns, then I think he's done for.
Really?
Yeah.
Sometimes
No, I
the
was thinking
Browns
that.
trade him mid-season, in my
That's what I
opinion.
was thinking. That's what I was thinking. I think they might trade him.
Browns
He
trade him to the
genuinely
Lions?
might make Baker worse for some odd reason.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stats that Baker's better without him. I don't know if it's just sheer coincidence or I didn't
No,
dive deep
it's
into
not
the stats.
coincidence, dude.
It's
It's
weird.
because he tries to force Odell the ball, and he
He
ends up
doesn't have
turning the
chemistry
ball
with him.
over. Yeah.
They're just lacking the chemistry. All right, well,
Anyone?
does anyone have
Wait,
any
yeah,
top 10
that's what I
pick?
was gonna ask.
Does anyone have
All
any
right.
I had
top 10
Matt
picks that
Stafford
weren't
in my
mentioned?
top 10. I had him.
Yeah, me
I
too.
believe I had him at 7. Yeah, I think
I would
had
have him at my 11. I would
I
have
had-
him like very close.
Oh
to
no
my
no
top.
no no! no.
I had Stafford
him,
at 10.
I had him at my 8 because we decided to include Deshaun Watson. So I had if I was to not include Deshaun Watson, I had Kyler Murray as my 11. But Matt
All
Stafford
right.
was my 8.
Don't make fun of me. I had Kyler Murray at 4.
I think it's
Hey,
fair.
dude, you need to
Look,
get
I
out of
think-
here.
High,
look,
but it's
it's 'cause-
fair.
It's high,
It's because
but
the Cardinals
4.
added so many offensive weapons. I think that like it's gonna be like insane, dude. They
Green-
added
like
so
they had
many,
go
offensive
back to
weapons.
they added
2011
so many
Dude,
offensive weapons, dude.
they had
Dude.
some crazy offensive weapons before.
You're talking
And they
about
got
a
James Conner
quarterback
now.
who can't even see half of the field because he's that short.
I don't know. I don't know. About,
Dude,
well,
how
I
much does
mean,
it matter?
he's,
Kyler Murray, little
on paper,
whistle.
he's the same
His
height
rushing
as Russ,
attack,
so-
too. his
Listen,
rushing
you
attack
can
too,
you
man.
can remove like 100 yards just because of that DeAndre Hopkins catch because that dude just threw it up and it was all DeAndre Hopkins. He didn't even know where he threw it up to because he was looking at the jumbotron, whatever it was, in the sky to see where it landed.
I don't think
Dude, the
he'll
only
ever
thing that's holding
be
him
like
back is
that
his coach.
elite.
No,
because
wait, let me.
Cliff
I
Kingsbury's a
don't
terrible
think
coach.
Kyler Murray's short and intermediate passing game is very good. I think he misses a lot of those throws. His deep balls are good, but for some reason his short and intermediate passes
He can improve.
and his reads aren't the best. He does
I
one
agree,
read.
yeah, his deep
He
ball
looks
is
at
bad,
half
his
of the
intermediate.
field because he can't see over the other half of the field, and then he runs. He's good at running. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong,
His
but
running is so weird
dude,
though. Like the movement.
I mean, like, how
Like
could you
short
put him in
stops.
like
It's
the
like
same
choppy
tier as
short
Lamar
stops.
Yeah.
Jackson? Lamar Jackson
No,
is a
not-
better passer
Lamar-
and runner.
That's
Not
right.
Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson, but he's still.
Well, you're
No.
saying he's at 4,
I
so
would-
he has
I
to be
would-
in the same
I
tier
would
as
say-
Lamar.
No, I'm saying I'm talking about running ability, but like I'm saying, I think he's like probably his second best running ability in the league, maybe third best. I don't know.
No.
And then I also
second
think
is
his
fair.
throwing is better. I think his throwing is better than Lamar Jackson. I think he's a better thrower
Get
than
that
Lamar
out.
Jackson.
Lamar
No,
Jackson
think-
is one
I
of the
think
most
he's better-
accurate
I
I
quarterbacks,
think he's a
bro.
better thrower than Lamar Jackson. He just needs. He's
Lamar
Dude.
gonna find it.
Jackson
He's
can
gonna find
throw.
it eventually.
It's just that he doesn't have receivers.
His
to
arm
catch the ball.
talent, is better than Lamar Jackson.
I
I mean-
think you just
I
see
don't think
Kyler's
so.
I think it
his
is. I
long
think it
throws,
is.
and you think he's a really good thrower, but I think he has accuracy problems.
I don't think you realize Lamar Jackson literally flicks the ball and it goes like 60 yards. Like, he just barely moves his arm. He'll flick it and it'll go like 40, 60
I know,
yards.
I think
Kyler
that,
Murray was kind of having like a silent MVP season in the
Like the
beginning
first
of the
half,
year, and
yeah,
then he
I
had that
remember.
shoulder injury. I think
That
people
shoulder injury did
forget
affect
about
him a
I
lot.
also
that
think-
did affect his season a big time. If you look after the games, he got that injury. He
I
even
also-
said in an interview that like his throwing motion's different if you watch like the tape from those weeks after the injury. So I think you got to remember that too.
But like his
Yeah.
injury could come back next year. I remember he got injured, and in the 49ers game where it was the Cardinals versus 49ers, where it's make it break it, you win, and you're in the playoffs. They were down. They needed one score to win, and it was like deep in like the third or fourth. And it's 3rd and 18, and Cliff Kingsbury decides to sub out the backup, put Kyler Murray in when he's clearly injured, and puts him in a QB run option, so he can re-injure himself. Cliff Kingsbury is not a good coach. Cliff Kingsbury is going to hinder this.
I think it was very weird he got even hired as a coach.
Yeah,
he gotta really do that well in college.
he was a losing coach at Texas A&M. Like he was not good in college. So what's going to make him good in the NFL?
It's very weird why Arizona chose to hire him.
Yeah,
Well,
There's
I mean,
a lot of coaches on the hot seat, to be honest.
I think this is also he's on the hot seat. He has to prove it this year, or else he's gone.
I know. I think
Anyone else have any quarterbacks?
No, that's
Well,
pretty
you
much it.
mentioned Stafford, so Stafford was my
Stafford.
number 7. So I think to see him with Sean McVay is going to be super exciting.
Yeah, I think he's gonna.
I think
really do
Sean
something.
McVay. He's never had a coach like this. I mean, who has he had? Matt
Sean
Patricia.
McVay's never had a quarterback like
That's
this.
facts. That's facts too. Like
It's a
they're-
good duo.
They're like a match made in heaven. So, offensive genius Sean McVay. I think that Rams offense, that offensive line, and then they also have like his receivers. Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are great, and they also got Tutu Atwell. So, and then Cam Akers is going into his sophomore year. I think Cam Akers is going to have a great year because they didn't really use him in the beginning of the last year. They had Darrell Henderson and they used Malcolm Brown more than they should have, honestly, because Cam Akers showed up in the second half of the year. So having
Especially
Cam
against
Akers,
Zadarius Smith.
I mean,
Yeah.
Cam Akers also
He did.
was injured. He
Oh,
looked
yeah, Cam
good,
Akers
and then
did
he
deal
got
with injuries
injured.
a little bit. But he wasn't
So
getting
anyone
his
else have any
proper
other
snaps.
quarterbacks?
What's up?
Nope. All right. Well, we're gonna move right into our divisional dive-in segment where we talk about just the divisions in the NFC and AFC, and talk about just what's going on with them and just rank their rankings. Let's see how many wins and losses they get. And for today, we're gonna do the NFC East. So, do you want to start off on the first team?
So we're gonna be going in order of position of how they finished last year. So the Washington football team won the NFC East last year, and they won it with a losing record, which hasn't been seen too many times. We saw the Seahawks did it in I think it was 2009 or 2010, and people were outraged. Like it's kind of interesting to see when a losing team makes into the playoff, winning their division. They ended up losing in the wild card round to the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 31-23, and they gave them a good game. Taylor Heineke played with a lot of heart. They possessed the number 19 overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, and they drafted Kentucky linebacker Jamin Davis with the first pick. So I wanted to know what you guys thought about their offseason moves, their draft overall, and their outlook potentially next year.
I liked it. You wanna know why? You want to know why I liked it? Because my boy Ryan Fitzpatrick is gonna make that
Yes,
team one of the
sir.
best teams in the NFC East. I think that maybe
one of the best teams in the NFC East, isn't it?
Yeah.
The NFC least.
But I actually think there's another team who's going to win the division. We'll talk about that later. But I think this team is going to be extremely fun to watch because, I mean, they had an extremely fun defense to watch with Chase Young. And now they got Ryan Fitzpatrick and they got Curtis Samuel, who I think people are sleeping on because the dude was doing really good on the Panthers. He just wasn't getting enough opportunities because they had two good receivers on the team as well. And I think with Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel, and they revamped their O-line a little bit, I think they'll be solid. Besides losing Moses, but I mean, like they're confident with their O-line being better. I think they're going to be extremely fun to watch, and I think they're going to be solid.
Yeah,
Facts.
there was a lot of young talent on that team that is just going to be getting better. Terry McLaurin's entering year 3, I believe. Chase Young entering year 2. Jamin Davis is a rookie, so he'll be new, but they also have like Brandon Allen, who's a really good defensive tackle.
That linebacker.
Exciting.
Yeah, they
I was
have
gonna say the same
Bostic,
thing as
good
Jamal.
tackle.
they have good cornerbacks too with Kendall Fuller, and
Yeah,
I think they have another
And
really
then
good one.
Ron Rivera is a linebacker guru. It's like I mean, he had Luke Kuechly in Carolina. He was a linebacker for the '85 Bears. Like I mean, he knows the position. So if they believe in Jamie Davis, they were saying that Jamie Davis was their number 1 on their board overall. So they were very, very, very happy to get him at 19 overall. So
I think that's coach speak, though.
Yeah,
to be
that's
honest.
what I was
I think
gonna say. That's 100% coach speak, dude.
Because I don't think they'd
there's
have
definitely
Lawrence.
elements of cap to it. Obviously, if
Lower
Justin
that
Fields was
Lawrence.
there at
Yeah,
19 overall, they
dude.
would take him. Like
Yeah,
I think
I agree with
defensive-wise,
Omar. You're
they
telling
love
me
him.
that you believe Ron Rivera would have taken Jamin Davis over Trevor Lawrence?
no
I-
way.
Yeah,
That's
I think he'd
definitely
be
an element
fired,
of
to be
coaching,
honest.
but
Yeah.
I feel like they truly got their guy, like the way they talked about him.
Dude,
Yeah,
and
I
I think they're getting Landon Collins back, right? Wasn't he injured?
I think
Or
you're
I
right
take
on
him?
that for sure.
Yeah, and Landon Collins, dude, he was like a Pro Bowler, like on the Giants, I think, before they
He's a beast.
signed. Yeah, he was a beast. So I think with like Landon Collins coming back, and just like Jamil said, like the defense they're only gonna improve, and the offense probably improving as well with like a solid QB, a stable QB. I think the sorry, not the football team.
Whoa,
Can't
My
be
bad.
saying that.
Name
My
Can't be
bad.
saying that.
We gotta
I
bleep
feel
that
like the
out.
football
We're gonna have
team,
to bleep that
they're
out.
gonna. I have them as number 1 in the division. I think they're gonna win it, but
Dude,
Yeah.
this team is gonna be really fun to watch because last year they were extremely fun to watch, and that was with terrible quarterback play.
bro, but their quarterbacks were low key fun to watch too. Heineke
Heineke was fun to watch.
Not when it
only
was
at the
bad,
end,
was-
dude. At the
Alex
end.
Smith,
it was-
I like
Alex Smith
watching
too.
too.
Yeah, Alex Smith.
Oh yeah,
coming in.
Alex
That
Smith. Yeah, I
comeback,
forgot about
you
him.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That felt good.
okay. I mean, that was cool, but like he didn't.
He was a game
He
manager.
played okay.
He
Yeah,
played
I-
okay,
I
but
I like
like
the offensive
having
pieces.
him,
I like
Aaron
Antonio
Donald, like
Gibson.
Like-
jump out and
like,
give him a
alright,
piggyback
Terry
ride was
McLaurin's
kind
Let's
of
be
fun.
real. Let's be real. Dude, watching Fitzmagic is so much fun to watch.
That's true.
Like, and then you're gonna watch a defensive line that is absolutely gonna thrash teams, dude. Or at least they should. And it's just gonna be fun to watch them on both sides of the ball. Like, because it was frustrating to see Terry McLaurin like not get the receptions and not get the passes that he should be getting. As I think he's a premier wide receiver. He's one of the best in my opinion. And like I got really frustrated watching Washington football team games and seeing that happen to Terry. So if Fitzmagic comes out and it's not Fitztragic, it's gonna be a really good team. Because the Fitzmagic that we saw on the Dolphins was actually insane, dude. The face mask touchdown throw he had at the end of the season. Like, I don't know. There's just something about Fitzmagic. Like he came out in who was it? Mike Evans like suit in the
Yeah.
post game conference.
It wasn't Mike Evans. It was Deshaun Jackson.
Oh, yeah,
Deshaun
Deshaun
Jackson
Jackson.
too,
It was,
yeah.
it was-
Yeah.
I
He has
just
that
remember it
energy.
being a wide receiver.
You think that Ryan Fitzpatrick's probably the overall most loved quarterback in the NFL?
I think so.
Yeah,
Besides
probably,
like
dude.
Alex
I think
Smith,
so.
like
Yeah.
Like-
You
I
can't
think
dislike
like
him, you
people
can't
like
dislike
him
him.
better than Alex Smith. Alex Smith has like the story that everyone respects. Like
I I think because like his story just like hits like to people's hearts and
Here,
people.
all right, there's one person I know that hates Alex Smith, and that's gonna be Aaron Rodgers.
Oh
But
yeah,
I think
that's true.
the
That's true.
only I don't think there's a single person who hates Ryan Fitzpatrick, dude.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
very
I
true.
don't
Too.
think
I
so
mean,
either.
I don't know.
I think they should.
And
I thought the Dolphins should have wrote him out. I
dude,
don't.
they should have. They could have
might
made the
have made the
playoffs. if
playoffs.
they
Yeah, I
did.
think they would have
Yeah.
made the playoffs.
Yeah, they would have, for sure.
It doesn't mean that they were gonna go far in the playoffs, but like
Yeah, but
that's a
they
young
still would've made
team.
the
Getting
playoffs,
into the
yeah.
playoffs as a young team, it really helps your team grow.
Yeah, I
So,
agree. So for my record for Washington football team, I had them as 9-8. So they don't have a losing record anymore.
I can see them having
Right.
another 9-win because the NFC East they upgraded, but I think that they'll still be either the number 1 team or the number 2 team. Like I mean, they're not. I don't think they're gonna finish worse than second in the division. I think it's pretty much
I have them second in
impossible.
the division,
low-key.
9. I have him 9-8 too. I think it's a good spot to put him.
yeah, 9 wins is fair. I have them at 10 though.
I gave him 10 as well, just because good defenses usually secure you like a solid baseline of wins, and I think their offense improved enough to get them some help.
All right, so
Mhm.
then I'll go on to the next team. The Giants finished second in the division. They finished 6-10. They possessed the number 11 overall pick, and they traded down to number 20 with Chicago. They drafted Florida wide receiver Kadarius Toney with their first round pick. And I just wanted to know what you guys think about the outlook of the Giants because they definitely had a free agency spending spree this year, and they're looking to go all in next year with Daniel Jones.
And I think they got a crazy offense because now that I like Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney's my favorite receiver coming in the draft. I'm not saying the best receiver. I'm just saying my favorite.
Yeah.
Make that clear.
Thank you for making the
Clarification.
distinction. Yeah.
But they also have they have like Sterling Shepard, and then they have
Kenny
G.
Galladay.
Kenny
And
Galladay.
they have Saquon
Well, yeah, they
coming
got
back off
Kenny
that
Galladay,
injury.
but they have the other Sterling
Oh,
Shepard and
Slayton.
Darius
Slayton.
Slayton.
Those are two
Devontae
two
Adams
ballers.
2.0, as some
Yeah.
people like to call him here.
And they got Kenny Galladay, and they got Kadarius Toney
Forgot
now.
about that.
That's 4 really good receivers in my opinion. And they got John Ross as that speed threat
Oh,
down the
yeah, I
field, even
forgot
though
to
it's
get him,
always
too.
Jamil,
injured.
that was fantasy talk, bro.
So I think
Wait, you forgot
That's-
Evan Ingram, the Pro
and Evan
Bowler.
Ingram,
Oh, yeah.
and they got
Oh,
Kyle
Pro
Rudolph,
Bowler.
and I think Kyle Rudolph is still
Pro
an end
Bowler.
zone threat. That dude is
And
pretty
then
big.
they also got Adoree Jackson to help with James Bradbury in their secondaries. So
Yeah.
hopefully their secondary is better this year.
Did
Oh,
you hear
you
about
forgot to mention
Calvin
Saquon.
Benjamin too?
Calvin Benjamin.
Omar, you forgot to mention Saquon's back.
They signed Calvin
Yeah, no,
Benjamin.
Saquon is back.
And-
That's very big because Saquon's not
Did
gonna.
you see the video
Guys,
But the
guys,
dude can barely stay healthy. So
the video of
honestly,
Calvin
it depends on if
Benjamin
he can stay healthy.
where they said he's
But-
one Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end?
He is a
came
tight
back
end
and now he's a tight end.
Dude, in my opinion, though, with the Giants, though, is that I think it's gonna all rely on Daniel Jones. I think
Daniel Jones
Yeah.
had a good rookie
because
year.
Daniel Jones, he's
rookie
got to
year.
stop fumbling,
Okay,
bro.
rookie year. I think he had like 24-10. I know he had a decent year, but then just the fumbles, the interceptions,
it was
they're
the
disgusting.
fumbles,
The
bro.
amount,
He
the
was
amount
the
of
best
turnovers that he
at first,
has. And last
Yeah.
year was not
Yeah.
good. He got benched for no, actually he was injured, and then what was his name? Colt McCoy came in and did better than him on his own team. So I don't know. I'm not too high on Daniel Jones.
They
I
No,
got Fields. That's the overall truth, in my opinion.
What'd you say?
The Giants should have got Fields.
Oh,
like they
definitely.
shouldn't have
Yeah.
given the Bears Fields.
Yeah.
It's good
Really?
for the Bears, in my opinion.
that's
But
very true.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
Go
throw
ahead.
Daniel Jones that quickly, bro. I feel like he has. I feel like I'd give him one more year.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. He
mean,
should ride out his contract, but
Yeah, and there's no if he does bad, there's no excuse. You get rid of him.
because
Like,
this is
I'm on the
year
same
deciding if they pick up his 5th year option or not.
I'm on the same exact side as Sola. I think they did the right thing, and I think having Daniel Jones prove it whether or not he's gonna be, because he has no excuses now. He's
everything.
a stacked offense.
Yeah,
So if he's able to, prove that he's got it, like he can be, the guy for them, then, I mean, they didn't make a mistake if they passed on Fields. And I think he's shown like there's been games where he's shown that he looks like he could be a very good quarterback.
Oh, like the Bucks game, yeah. He like in prime time, he's
Oh.
shown up. Like even his rookie year he did decent. But I think the key to him succeeding is working on those turnovers. That's like his major flaw.
and also running in the open field.
He gives me Jameis Winston vibes, to be honest.
You think
Like
so?
you see the toolkit to succeed. It's just that they love throwing the ball to the other team and dropping it to the other team. That's what it seems like to me.
I can see that.
Yeah.
That does sound fair.
But yeah, I
Wins?
think Daniel Jones is only going to show up a little bit less than half the time. So I have the Giants winning 8 games and having 9 losses. So I have a record of 8
I
and
give
9.
him like 7. Actually, I give him 6. 6 wins.
I give him 8. I'll give him 8. That's pretty good.
I have 8 as well.
I gave them 7. I like them, but I think they're gonna lose some games off those turnovers.
Actually, no. You know
I
what?
think they're just the third
I give
best
them
team in
9.
their division. So I think they
We
finished like.
forgot
I
to
think,
talk
I think
about
they
their
finished
defense.
third.
Their defense is sneaky good, dude. Like,
This defense
It
is like,
is.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's
their
fair.
defense, really.
The defense is solid.
Mm-hmm.
Like with Blake Martinez and Leonard Williams and what's his name?
James
Real,
Bradbury.
The
Bradbury.
defensive tackle.
They
Yeah,
still have Eli
Bradbury.
Apple.
Yeah, and they got that
No,
defensive tackle.
Eli Apple is what he went on the Saints and
He's
then now he's
trash.
like he's not in the league anymore. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But
they
let's
got
move on to the next team.
defense.
The Dallas Cowboys. They finished 6-10 last year. They possessed the number 10 overall pick, and they decided to trade down with division rival, the Philadelphia Eagles, to the number 12 overall pick. They drafted Penn State linebacker Micah Parsons with their first round pick, and some notable movements that they've made this season. They extended quarterback Dak Prescott, to a 4-year, $140 million contract. And I just wanted to know what you guys think about the future of the Cowboys and where they'll finish.
So you mentioned how they drafted Micah Parsons, which I think is huge for that
Mhm.
defense. But they also in the second round drafted Kelvin Joseph, who is a cornerback who is also a really good piece for them. So I think they really addressed the defense well in the draft. And they got Brett Urban, our boy from the Chicago Bears, was a solid depth piece, but he's only a depth
They definitely
piece.
wanted Pat
But-
Surtain.
Yeah, but I mean, he still addressed the defense, and Dak is coming back. And now that Dak has all these weapons to play with, and I think on the offensive line's coming back too, I think the Cowboys are actually going to do really good, and I think they're going to win the division this year. I think Dak is still like a freak athlete, and if he didn't get injured, I think they would have had more than 10 wins, if not 10 wins or more last year,
Mm-hmm.
because their division was horrible. If Dak was there, they probably could have won every game in that division, and more with the outside the division too.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think that it was just because of the injuries that made the Cowboys bad last year. And I don't think it's going to be the same case again this year.
They definitely
the
addressed the
offense-
defense, like you said. They out of their 11 draft picks, 8 of them were defensive. So they're working on
I
that
don't know.
because they have that Madden team offense.
I disagree with you guys. I think they're gonna be around the same. I don't know. I think they're gonna improve. But the problem with the Cowboys is that they were scoring. Like start of the season, they were scoring with Dak, and it was just their defense, right? And I feel like it wasn't. I know their cornerbacks were pretty bad, but I feel like their passing defense was more due to the pass rush. I think that their pass rush wasn't like amazing, and I think Micah Parsons. I think he's a really good. I think he's actually good at rushing the QB, but I feel like they didn't address the pass rush that much, and I think that's why I don't have him improving that much. So that's my stance on it.
I thought the
Alden
pass rush
Smith
is the
was
only. Yeah, I thought
I
the
love
pass rush was like
Terry.
the only thing that was all right with the Cowboys defense.
Really,
'Cause everything else sucked. I think that was like the
Marcus
best part of their
Lawrence.
defense was their pass rush.
I honestly thought that their linebackers were good because on paper, Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith are decent, but I mean, I guess not to their standard. I mean, they decided to not pick up Leighton Vander Esch's 5th-year option, and they drafted Micah Parsons. So I guess he's not.
Yeah,
bringing up to their standard.
They just said they're gonna replace Van Der Esch with Parsons, basically, by doing that move.
Pretty much.
So I mean, it doesn't mean that their linebackers aren't good,
Mhm.
just because
Just money.
they just don't want to pay Van Der Esch.
Unless Van Der Esch shows out really big this year, then I think.
Yeah, and then they would regret not paying him because they would have been able to get him on a cheaper deal.
Yeah.
Because they'll have to let him walk. They don't have that much cap, considering they're paying Zeke and Dak like 60 mil combined.
And Amari
year.
Cooper a
Mark
lot.
another 20 mil
Yeah.
on top of that.
So for the Cowboys pass rush, I think Eldon Smith was honestly their best player in that defense last year, and I think that's what the pass rush was the best thing in their defense last year.
Yeah, DeMarcus Lawrence hasn't really shown anything crazy. as of recently.
Yeah, he underperformed.
And then they had Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn had that insane 2019 year. He caught a check.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What team
I
did
don't,
he
I don't, I don't know who Robert Quinn is. So
Yeah, me neither.
caught a check and dipped because he sucked.
Hey,
it's
I
just as good as Preston
remember
Smith.
somebody guaranteeing Robert Quinn and another player to like combine for like 20 sacks or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that
Yeah,
other
man,
player has to
Zadarius
be
Smith
that
is
other
better
player
than
has
both.
to be a perennial edge rusher, probably the best of all time.
Yeah, I wonder who it is.
Yeah, me too.
Are you talking about the dude who gets like 8 sacks
Uh,
every year, bro?
Honestly though, I think looking at the Giants, their offense is, it's gonna be top tiers.
And the Cowboys?
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
Cowboys. Cowboys offense will be top tier. They have
Yeah.
Dak Prescott at quarterback who can. He was showing that he could be like a top 5 quarterback last year before he got injured. I mean, they have great receivers. Zeke, who knows? He could be a top 5
Mike
running
McCarthy,
back,
bro.
and
Yeah,
then
with
I think with
that
that
O-line
offensive
coming back,
line,
I
he'll
think
be
that he
good.
could be a top 5.
yeah, he should. And
He
then
wouldn't, though.
yeah, they also should have a tremendous offensive line. I think the biggest question for me is Mike McCarthy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because we saw what Mike McCarthy did in Green Bay and just holding back the Packers and failing to innovate and failing to make the team better. He was very complacent and he kept the same systems in Green Bay, and that really ended up like just hurting Green Bay and hurting Aaron Rodgers and just hurting the whole team in general. So I don't know if Mike McCarthy learned from that and will start innovating, stay up with the times. I don't know. I'm not a big believer in Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, me neither.
So
Yeah, I
Look,
don't blame you.
I will give him
I
this,
still think
though.
their team's too talented.
I will give McCarthy this, though. I saw Dak Prescott try to line up as a wide receiver, and he actually caught a pass as a wide receiver.
Yeah, he caught a touchdown.
So
and then
and
he got
McCarthy
injured
would
2 plays
never do
later.
that with the Packers. Like, absolutely never do that, bro.
That's probably because Aaron Rodgers doesn't have hands.
I mean,
I think
Maybe Jordan Love does
Also,
when he
Aaron
plays.
Rodgers
there's
is
still
not like
innovators,
25,
like,
26.
I don't know. I feel like
yeah.
I think
McCarthy would just
I
not
think
do
I
it,
think if he stayed in Green Bay and got Jordan Love, I think he'd transition Jordan Love to a wide receiver pretty good since he's gonna be a trash QB.
bro. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Jordan Love, he'd
Yeah.
probably go 16-0.
probably.
Well, now
Probably
17-0.
not, though. Jordan Love, we're not gonna talk about Jordan Love right now, but
is there anything you wanted to say,
Um,
Jamil?
I was just gonna say, I think that I was talking about earlier about how Dak was kind of a ghost in the first half, and I think that it can be attributed to maybe Mike McCarthy and his terrible play calling. And then in the second half, when they're down 20 and they have to run no huddle, and he doesn't have to listen to Mike McCarthy's play calling, then that's why the offense is actually flourishing. So I do think Mike McCarthy's probably the biggest liability for their team next year. I
Yeah,
think there's a
and
good chance he gets fired mid-season.
Mike McCarthy
Also,
turns
Jamil-
top 5 running backs into cheese, bro. Like, this dude, like, destroys running backs.
He wasn't the one giving Eddie Lacy 4 Big Macs a day, bro.
yeah, bro. Eddie Lacy
No.
did that to himself.
But
I'm
also,
talking
I
about
don't
Aaron
know. With
Jones,
Mike
though. I'm talking about
McCarthy,
Aaron
he
Jones.
just I don't know what
That's
goes
fair.
through his head when he
Aaron Jones
plays.
had I think he was averaging like 5 yards a carry or something.
Yeah, and we just
Gave
wouldn't
him,
give
like,
him the
Like
ball.
7, bro.
Yeah,
We
it
didn't
was
give him the
something
ball at
crazy.
all.
He just never wanted to run the ball. Yeah, but also with Mike McCarthy, I just like I think what Jamil was talking about the first half, like their offense not being that good. I think it's because it's just not aggressive enough. Because in the second half, when they're down like 20 points, they have to play extremely aggressive. You see Dak airing all the ball, and he doesn't do that in the first half. But Dak's really good at throwing deep balls and just taking those aggressive plays. So I just think I don't know. Mike McCarthy's play calling, everything about him isn't that good. So
Yeah, I agree. But I still think they'll be a winning team.
Yeah,
So
I give him
I
10
have them
wins.
as a 11 win, 11-6 team.
That's fair.
I got him at 7, bro.
10-11.
I gave him 9. So,
I give him 9. Yep.
and it's all Mike McCarthy for my losses, pretty much.
Yeah, dude, I agree.
makes
Well, I
sense.
mean, I don't blame you either.
I
'Cause Mike
mean,
McCarthy's a
Chargers
bum.
have had plenty of bad coaches, and I know what bad coaches can do to a talented roster. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
All right,
right,
so we'll move on to the Eagles.
we'll move on to the next team. So, finishing last in the NFC East last year are the Philadelphia Eagles. They finished 4-11. They possess the number 6 overall pick, and they decided to trade down to number 12 overall with the Miami Dolphins, and they received the first round pick for next year. And then they decided to trade back up to number 10 overall with the Dallas Cowboys, and they gave up a third round pick in 2022. And they drafted Alabama wide receiver Devontae Smith with their first round pick. Some notable moves that they've made: they fired head coach Doug Peterson, and they hired Colts offensive coordinator Nick Sirianni. And they also, one of the biggest moves, probably the biggest move that they made this offseason, was trading quarterback Carson Wentz to the Indianapolis Colts for a conditional first.
The thing with the Eagles is that they're rebuilding, so I don't think they're gonna do that well. I mean, I feel like Jalen Hurts will play well, but I feel like at the end of the day, their defense is still not that good. I think it's still like I feel like I feel like it's still mediocre, bro. And
I agree. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with you.
And I just don't see the Eagles getting more than 7 wins.
I
they
actually agree
want.
with you.
I think they want to lose. I think they want to rebuild. Maybe like next year they'll start doing pretty good, but right now I don't think they're going far.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. I think they're rebuilding. Their defense is mediocre. They didn't really make that many free agent acquisitions. I mean, they got Joe Flacco to back up my boy, Jalen Hurts, and they got Kerryon Johnson, but that dude has no knees anymore. But that's about it. Besides Ryan Kerrigan is a solid.
Oh yeah,
acquisition.
they got him for what, like $3.5
Tiny.
million. That's pretty solid.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think he's a solid acquisition, but I don't think he's gonna make a huge impact. So, I honestly think they're gonna be the worst in the division.
I give
What's
them
your
like
temp-
4 wins, honestly.
What would you guys? I just want to ask, what's like the temperature check on Jalen Hurts? Do you think he'll be a legit starting quarterback next year, or do you think he's still in that developing phase? Or
He's definitely still developing, but people are giving him too much hate. Like I've seen some slander on him because he went 1-3 as a starter last year, but the situation around him was less than perfect. Like he had the offensive line last year was just disgusting. Who's catching the ball for the Eagles? Travis Fulgham is the number 1 receiver last year that they had because Jalen Reagor was injured, Deshaun Jackson was injured, Alshon Jeffrey's injured, and those 2 wide receivers are not coming back this year. So but they still have Devontae Smith. Well, they're upgraded this year. They have Devontae Smith. Jalen Reagor is fully healthy. They have J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, the GOAT, and then they have a boosted O-line, and with Miles Sanders and Boston Scott, like their offense should be decent. I mean, there's questions on the defense, but I just think that he's developing as a quarterback. You can't put too much pressure on him to fulfill no one's expecting a 2017 Carson Wentz season out of him next year. But
I think he's going to be 20.
What'd you say?
I think he's going to be like 20th best QB.
I think 20 to 25 is fair. That's.
I think I have him around 25. What do you guys? I think what I was looking at is like, what do you guys think of their trade? Like, did you guys like it or did you not? Personally,
I don't know. Honestly,
the trade that they had for their first round pick.
Oh,
I think a conditional first, like a first rounder for 60 million dead cap. I mean, like when you're looking at that, I don't like that. But
talking about the Devontae Smith.
He's talking about the draft
trade.
What did they give up?
Yeah, they gave up a third rounder.
They
gave up a third rounder to move up 2 spots. I think that was great. They needed him.
Yeah, I think that was solid because I think that I think Devontae Smith would have been gone if they didn't trade up.
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the edge with it because so here's the thing. They're like, all right, we have Jalen Hurts as our quarterback. We play him out. We see how he is this year. If he's good, then we have 2 first-round picks next year. If he's not good, then they're in a position to draft a good quarterback with their first-round pick. But I don't know. I feel like they could end up regretting just not taking a quarterback.
You mentioned that
this year,
true.
and trading down
because you don't have a set quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I like the logic behind the trade is sound, right? But I'm just not sure. I think like if you look back at it with hindsight, it's gonna be easy to say, "Oh, that was a good trade" or "That was a bad trade." But right now in the moment, I'm just not sure.
I think that I honestly believe that Jalen Hurts will develop to be a good quarterback. He's shown really good flashes. I think he'll develop to be a solid quarterback for them. I honestly believe he'll be the franchise quarterback. So I think this was a solid pick. And with Devontae, because he didn't have any weapons last year that he was throwing to.
Yeah.
Like Abdul said, he didn't have any weapons, and now he has like an actual weapon to throw to, and it was his teammate. So that's already like chemistry and a connection he can throw to. So I think he'll be solid. I don't think he's gonna break out anything crazy this year, but I honestly believe like within like 3 years he'll develop into maybe like around the 15 range for quarterbacks.
I
I think
mean,
he'll be
there's no
extremely solid.
way that you could say that the Devontae Smith pick, position wise, was the wrong pick. I think that that's good for them because you've seen in the past they've made mistakes when they're drafting wide receivers. They drafted Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. Now Jalen Reagor was injured, but I mean Justin Jefferson was the consensus #1 wide receiver performance wise from that rookie draft class. And then they also chose J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf. So like they missed on so many guys right there. So it's their Howie's drafting has been questionable, but I think that this was a good pick overall.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pick. I'm just not sure if the trade is what I'm
trade and then drafting.
I mean,
drafting a quarterback.
But when you think about third rounders are I think they are the most hit or miss in the draft because that's going into the reach of is it late round or are you getting somebody who maybe dropped that far? So it's usually a hit or miss in that third round. And when you're getting the Heisman winner, Devontae Smith, who had a crazy season, and then only giving up a third round for him, I think that's solid because I think Devontae Smith will show out and be an extremely solid wide receiver for the Eagles.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I
Anyone
gave
got any
the
more
Eagles-
thoughts? Oh, we got to give.
I was just gonna say my record. I gave the Eagles 5 wins. I think they
Yes,
kind
sir.
of want that top 10 pick, and the coaching staff has some question marks too.
Yeah, 4
Yeah,
or
I
5
give him
wins
the
is
same.
fair. That's what I would give them.
Yeah, I gave him 4 wins. Actually, no, sorry, 5 wins actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I did 5 wins. I think it's clear that they are the worst team in this division,
Yeah.
Agreed.
unless if like crazy things happen.
I mean, crazier things have happened. So
Yeah, but I mean, just looking
about
at
last
them
year.
right now.
If you were to rank them, so position wise, I think that they'll end up. I think it'll be Cowboys, Washington, Giants, and then the Eagles.
that's exactly how I have it. So
I think the Washington could be #1, obviously.
I
Yeah.
think the Cowboys will take #1.
That's what I have flipped. It's the same thing as you, but I have Washington at the top, then the Cowboys.
I actually have
Then we made Jamil.
Washington, then the Giants, then the Cowboys, then the Eagles.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Washington or the Giants finishing second.
I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I have it so Washington 1, Cowboys 2, and Giants at 3, but I think there's a lot of room between each of I think any 3 of those teams could win the division.
That is
honestly,
fair. I mean, they
It
are pretty
almost
close.
won it last year, and
Yeah.
that was with a lot of injuries and
Yeah.
everything like
Yeah,
that.
I think this division should be a lot better than what it was last year.
It
I don't
could
think
really-
it can go worse. Yeah, I don't think
The
they can
NFC
go worse.
East, hopefully
Yeah.
not again.
But I don't know. It'll be a very fun division to watch. It was last year, even though they weren't playing that good. But like, I don't know. The
Yeah.
divisional rivalries between these teams are just very fun to watch.
Yeah.
And
Because
should
I
be
mean
interesting to
they're equally as bad as each other last year.
now hopefully now it's gonna be who's equally as good.
Yeah.
Hopefully. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Real Talk Network podcast. We've got another great episode for you guys next week, so stay tuned. Follow us on all social media. We're posting videos on TikTok. We're trying to stay active on Twitter. We're trying to stay active on all social media, so be sure to follow us on there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all streaming platforms for our podcast. Thank you guys for listening, and take care.
See you.